Hi. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Whatever the case may be. I go by Mechanical Beanstalk. I'm a variety streamer who tries to do more off-the-radar games. Good morning, Dev. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I try to do more off-the-radar games. This includes games that have very strong community presence or modded presence or indies or retros that need a little bit more time in the spotlight. So essentially stuff that you can kind of get into with good friends and find something new to enjoy. So today we're actually going to be going back to our unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays. Microphone's working okay. Good. I got to remember to check my microphone every single time just to make sure. You never know. But yeah, we're going through back to unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays. It's not official. It is not official. We're not officially doing Warhammer 40,000. We're unofficially doing Warhammer 40,000 games on Sundays. And generally we play Warhammer 40,000 role-playing games and talk about that. Although we have been known to do, say, like Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 or Warhammer 40,000 Orc Speed Freaks or Dawn of War games or stuff like that. Officially, unofficial. I don't know. That's trending a little bit towards official. A little bit too much to my comfort zone. But right now it's going to be official. Or unofficial. I'm sorry. But eventually it might be officially unofficial. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. We're playing Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader today, as we normally do. And we're playing a modded version of this campaign where you can use the Ratling race in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, which are kind of like space halflings, right? We're making a space halfling crew. The first campaign we did a little bit more like Puritan run, tried to do a little bit more like, Emperor is divine, blessed, all that jazz. But this one we're trying to do like a little bit more off the cuff, semi-heretical, bordering on heretical. So we'll see what happens, right? We're playing as Lord Captain Guppo Teawhistle of the Teawhistle Dynasty, Ratling Rogue Trader, who is given his warrant of trade, his writ of freedom to kind of do whatever he wants. Is kind of like a privateering space prince in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Through like a loophole, he was able to actually get that. And yeah, we are... if you're unfamiliar with Warhammer 40,000, my short introduction to it is thus. Not really covering everything on it, but it's a science fantasy setting where it's off in the 40,000 year of 40,000 plus. Life is cheap. Mankind's empire is bloated and, assaulted on all sides. And faster light travel and interstellar communications are achieved through hell. So that's mostly what's going on. But yeah, officially unofficial. Officially, yes. Officially unofficial. It's unofficially, officially unofficial. Yes. We'll work it. We'll workshop that just a little bit. Anyways, we're gonna go bop on into it. If you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Really would appreciate if you would do so. Current goal is to get to 1K subs over on YouTube. So if you can help me on that, that'd be great. Let me give a short introduction to our crew, which we'll be talking about. Also, tend to talk about the Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper Rogue Trader role-playing game as well on this on Sundays. Generally, whenever there's a long load time or a little bit of a downtime where we're trying to like travel somewhere, we'll take a little side tangent and we'll talk about the Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper role-playing game, which I have a lot of experience with. Last few weeks we've been talking about how to import a typical sci-fi character, more generic. I would say, I don't think it's insulting to say Star Trek: The Next Generation or Star Trek in general is generic sci-fi. I don't think that's insulting at all. I think when a lot of people think of science fiction, like Star Trek is one of the things that like pops up. So I don't think it's insulting at all. It doesn't mean it's like bad. But like we're trying to talk about how in the Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper role-playing game, it can be very intimidating for new players to kind of like jump into it, just because the science fiction setting of Warhammer 40,000 is like so different and I don't know, kind of difficult to wrap your mind around. Like the morality system that actually has is very different than like a typical, don't murder, value human life, stuff like that. So yeah, jumping into something that's kind of like the opposite of Star Trek is very intimidating. But I was making the argument that you can make any sort of character in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, the pen and paper game, and you can integrate it into the system. It's fine. You can make a Star Trek type character who does value human life. You can make a fantasy character, and we'll actually be going over that today. What I'm saying, if you have someone who you're a game master, it's going over to Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, and all your players are kind of the only experience they have are like Dungeons and Dragons. That's what we'll be talking about probably this week and next week, is how to integrate those types of players and characters into the Rogue Trader setting. So yeah, Dev, depressing crapsack, dystopian, grimdark, in space. Exactly. That's an excellent way to describe it. Very good job. Okay, so we have Lord Captain Guppo Teawhistle of the Teawhistle Dynasty, the Ratling or Space Halfling Rogue Trader, right? He is a Cyber Eagle officer, so he's able to buff people up and also do a lot of damage with his Cyber Eagle Barnabas. We have Barnabas right over here. Say hello, Barnabas. Ah! We have modded companions, which are mostly going to be Space Halflings. We have Space Halfling Solomorn, right? More of a warrior build, which is a little bit more tanky, has access to charge and ground covering compared to the normal build that Solomorn has. He has a Cyber Corgi that he rides around on. 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖚. See, 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖚 is right over there. You can see him riding it. So excellent. Arts. We have giant buff heavy gunner Earlet, right? She's so big she can't wear a lot of typical Eldar garb, right? But she can use human-made stuff because it's a little bit more bulky, right? We were forced to pick Heinrichs for this particular mission, so we generally don't have Heinrichs. We used them in the last campaign, so I haven't really been using them that much. But I think we're trying to play around with a poison shotgun mid-range build on them just for funsies. Normally we have Space Halfling J, which is my romance in this section, we're going to actually come back to a little bit later. But we have Space Halfling 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖚, which she has her Cyber Raven, right? And we finally have Respect Yogan, he's more of like a sniper build with Dark Eldar and energy weapon snipers. And yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. We're doing the main quest line just because I need to progress the main quest line in order to do more of the DLC 3 content. I think we decided, but yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I'm trying to play with a lot of the characters that I didn't play with on the last campaign. But they're like, well, you have to pick Heinrichs because he's your guy. He's your guy. See, I can't get rid of him. Anyways, Jay's over here. Halfling version of Jay. It would be interesting. I don't know if I would ever do that, but it would have been kind of interesting to play with an all Ogren crew. That would be interesting. Have an Ogren version of Jay. Trying to look all suave. She has a big old Ogren belly. You don't want to yuck anyone's yum, There's probably something out there for everyone. So, but it would be interesting. I'll say that. But I'm happy we went with Space Halflings because it's silly. It goes against the grain for typical Warhammer 40,000, story. And yeah, it's been pretty fun so far. I like it. I like our builds that we've actually been experimenting with. But I think I have to just do all the colony, finish the colony quests, go back to Dargonis, and then we can move on to chapter 3, I want to say. And then once we get past chapter 3, I think we unlock more of the DLC stuff, I want to say. Dev, lots and lots of gold chains and bear chest. Yes, exactly. So it's probably going to cut me off, this load bar. But whenever there's an extra long load bar, we'll talk a little bit about the pen and paper game and getting into it. Like I was saying before, it's going to cut me off. No. But yeah, we're going to talk about making a typical Dungeons & Dragons character in Rogue Trader. Right? I would say that making a fighter or a rogue is probably too easy for us. I'm not really sure what kind of archetype we would make for Rogue Trader, but I'm thinking off the top of my head, something that kind of goes against the grain for Rogue Trader or Warhammer 40,000, like a Paladin or a Wizard or Warlock. Even Warlock kind of fits in a little bit too nicely, but it wouldn't end as well as it would in Dungeons & Dragons. But anyways, let's kind of go around. We have to look for signs of life. And yeah.
None shall stand in my way.
Bard, Paladin. Bard might be good. I think Bard or Paladin might actually be a very good thing to do. Because Bard would be really good just because it is kind of gets a lot of the D&D tropes with it. Paladin, I think, just it has a lot of D&D tropes, and it goes against the grain of Warhammer 40,000 quite a bit. So it'd be a challenge actually making that. Okay, goods. There's servitors. Nothing too crazy. Junk. Going through everyone's trash can. Let's see, what else we got? I think this is like scrap code in here. Before you is an ancient but wholly typical console intended for use by the people not trained in the mysteries of ministering to the machine spirits. It's like baby's first cogitator. It's like the machine spirit goes in a little like spinning dial. It's like all the buttons are. It's like a cell phone for like old people with like the giant keys. The cogitator is completely silent, but as you approach, you sense the warmth emanating from its metallic casing, a telltale sign that the machine is working. Okay, view log. You discover the local data crypt with contents collected by either previous operators or machine spirit itself. Using your access, you study the archives stored on this cogitator. The dev. Well, I guess 40k has a lot of paladin archetypes. It's only just their grim dark color coded. Yeah. So that's why I don't know. I'm thinking. I think I'm going to focus on either of those two. But at the same time, we have to realize that we have to make this easy for a Dungeons & Dragons player to go into Warhammer 40,000, right? A good transition character. I'm thinking Bard is what we should do. Because you can kind of play Bard a little bit more spellcastery, or stealthily, or melee kind of focused, or just buff focused. It's a good versatile class, but we'll see. Vast data repositories contain millions of strings related to receiving raw materials for process. I don't know. Maybe I will do Paladin. I don't know. We'll see. The vast data repositories contain millions of strings related to receiving raw materials for processing, shipping, metals, and schedules for sacred rituals to be performed over the machines coming off the production line. The last manufactorum once operated like one gargantuan well-oiled mechanism. The latest record is from 2 months ago. Okay. Excellent. Is this the same thing? The cogitator panel has dozens of breakers, buttons, handles, and switches, and other control mechanisms. View log again. You discover the local data crypt contains contents collected by either previous operators or machine series itself. Using access, you study the archives stored on the cogitator. View the first data log. Praise be to 𝕿𝖆𝖊𝖊𝖊𝖚, whose might and power transforms dead metal to make manifest the holy visions of the machine god. The new protocols received at the synod from the fabricator's censor have been executed despite those who shuddered at the thought of changing a standard procedure. Embolden your hearts, those whose inner workings breed errors in personnel calculations, for the fabricator's censor is the conductor of the higher will and the wisest among us. The dev. Space Marines are essentially the entire Paladin arms, I'd say. Sister Battle even more so. I guess true. I think people recognize just a standard Paladin. So that's one of the reasons it keeps coming back into my brain, is like a benevolent Paladin, a human Paladin, right? Or like kind of like a knightly. It's instantly relatable. But we'll see. Maybe I'll try to... We'll see. I'll dwell it over a little bit. I'll think about it. But it is a good point. It is a good point. The Rogue Trader in 40k does have a lot of like Paladin archetypes already. View the second data log. Today at the Supreme Assembly, the Fabricator Censor unsealed the vaults of the sacred designs and committed those deemed redundant or heretical to purifying disposal. Today, dozens of standard procedures were lost to be replaced by new ones, which the Fabricator Censor will deliver to those who demonstrate the greatest devotion to serving the truth. But the data banks contain no notion of truth. There could have been, may the all-knowing one, the gracious keeper, forgive me, an error in the Fabricator's Censor calculations. Maybe he meant to say serving the quest for knowledge. Number 3. View the third data log, which is hidden by the protection of the machine spirit. Your knowledge of machine spirits is sufficient to trick the system and subdue it to your will. A false carry, crafty manipulation of the controls, and you gain what you want. The instrument terminals have already been replaced, and the metal delivery system are being prepared for the divine transformation. The execution of new procedure has been delayed, for there are some in our ranks who doubt the words of the Fabricator Censor. Fabricator Censor, high-ranking tech priest who may act as an overseer of an entire planet. Okay, so more or less like a kind of like a overseer governor, a forming governor, kind of. And there are some who are not susceptible to the enhanced protocol that carries our tech comrades to enlightenment. May the deliveries of fate be merciful to them. Inaction is death, and I must be returning to our great work. Praise be to the truth that will reveal the path to knowledge shrouded in darkness. Okay. Interesting. They do have their own way of things on these planets. These backwater planets. Okay. Oh. Almost forgot. Almost missed you. Don't want to miss any sort of trash. Oh, only 35. Oh my god.
Was there a fault in my cogitations? The machine god
Cool.
was
Got it.
to me.
Yeah. Got my trash. Trash. I love trash. Yeah. I think we already did this. Another way to go. Going up. Sure. Oh, and then we have corruption. And an eyeball. I think I see corruption here. Let's see here.
A new challenge for me.
Would you look at that?
I probably do not want to run in there. Just a guess. Let's see here. The dev, but I can't think of anything super close to Bard. Maybe Elder Harlequins is closest. Yeah, I think we will settle with Bard, because you're right. They do have a, because one, there's a lot of archetypes we can actually go through that kind of pair well with the Bard. If you're transitioning from Dungeons and Dragons to Warhammer 40,000, it might give us a little bit of challenge to make this thing when we're actually kind of like brainstorming it. How would it look? Stuff like that. We'll stick with Bard for now.
My lead.
What's this? We can't look at it? I think it's bugged a little bit. Oh, look at all that trash. Oh, motive force conductor. Ooh, hyperdynamo capacitors. Oh my lord, carbon fiber plates. Okay. That is bugged out, I want to say. Lore warp.
It's about time.
Okay. Something weird is going on, but okay. What we got? Why not just have a seat and eat a pie? Sounds good to me. Ah, man. After I do, like, every time I finish one of these, like, streaming sessions with the Space Halflings, I want to smoke some pipe weed and eat some pies. There was someone here, or a good place to hide, or set up an ambush. Oh, owlcat loves ambushes. Blood mixed with machine oil is barely visible on the dark floor. I think this will hurt me. Okay, I can't go this way. Oh, I can't go this way. Got it. Wait, can I go around? Or is that an impossibility?
I won't tolerate weakness.
Okay.
The Lex prevails.
Let's see here. I'm gonna hit like every single Steam vent. I know it. I'm pretty sure you have to go through this, and on the other side there's a switch.
𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖊.
Okay. Go, my friend. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Okay. Okay. Time it right. Go, 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 go. Glido, get out of there. Do it. Okay. A dark patch can be seen on the floor. They're smudged as though someone walked through them on the way to the footbridge. Okay. Is there a... Pretty sure there's supposed to be a switch around here somewhere.
Moving out.
Nope. Walked right through that trap. Whatever. You got a little minor injury. That's fine. Fresh injury. That's fine. Next mechanic. Hi. A small, heavily augmented man in filthy, tattered robes stands before you. As you approach, he hesitantly looks up at you, his eyes filled with horror. A portable inscriber with a keyboard hangs from straps at his front, and you can see his detached cerebral cogitator peeking out from under his hood. What is this? Captain Guppo isn't even here. What is this? I'm probably going to act as if it is Captain Guppo. What is this? Another of the cultist minions? He's like all the way over on the other side of the room. Lex Mechanic. No, I'm not a cultist. They tried to corrupt my mind with their heresy, but I ran. I am Manufactorum Lex Mechanic Zeta 86. I performed the rituals for machine spirits of Foundry 895 up until we started going mad. Priests devoted to 𝕿𝖊𝖊𝖊𝖊 suddenly started praising the dawn of something or other. They stopped at the belts and then desecrated the visages of the sacred machines with unholy symbols. Okay. Some of them resisted. The others grabbed them, tied them up, and then they turned their implants to heresy. I saw the madman and my former tech comrades deliberately connect those poor souls to the corrupted cogitators, and I watched as they were infected with scrap code. How did you manage to avoid the same fate? Ask him that, Solomon. I didn't avoid it. They performed the same procedure on me. I felt the touch of the unholy code. I allowed it to control me. I abandoned my sacred post and followed one of the traitors, serving his will and gathering all the data for his blasphemous experiments. I was driven by an unholy impulse coming from the depths of my auxiliary cogitator, where the code had lodged itself. All the way over here. Adira focuses her spyglass on the Lex Mechanic. The whispers are dancing around you, latching onto you, but not for long. Maybe it will happen, yet maybe it won't at all. All the way over here. Before I found a way to throw off the compulsion, I witnessed horrifying heresy, the extraction of the true flesh and decomposition on altars. Perverse procedures that resulted in heretical technical abominations. I even accompanied a fallen Magos to the fabricator censor himself and attended an unholy mass he led personally. It was a wicked ritual, full of willful deviations and blatant inaccuracies. All to create an ungodly monster in the name of the final dawn. You don't act like the other priests who are infected with corruption. The Lex Mechanic gestures at the wires and connectors spilling out from under his hood. Praise the gifts of the 𝕿𝖊𝖊𝖊. I managed to disconnect my external cogitator, which I use for primary data processing. The machine is corrupted, and the scrap code is locked inside of it, like a beast in a cage. But anyone who tries to look inside will fall victim to its heretical programming. My primitive brain has been marked by corruption. I can still see their silhouettes, hear their interfaces. I can sense their malfunctions in my augmetics. But I was still saved from the great sacrifice. Oh, blessed are the workings of the 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊 and his benediction that shelters the weak from evil. Heinrich senses ever so slightly at the next mechanic's words. You see his hand casually straight to the handle of his weapon, but the interrogator is in no hurry to act. You mentioned someone imprisoned on the lower levels. The lay servants of the main units. They live in isolated segments under the sacred machine halls. I hear that they were locked in there after takeover. Then my crazed brethren changed the system for disposing of slag waste and covered the machines in cursed symbols. Alex Mechanic hesitates. After they started the cogitator, they dragged the survivors out to the segments under the machine halls. Well, what the survivors had turned into. Heinrich, you demonstrate exceptional powers of observation and recall for someone who just happened to survive. I'm Alex Mechanic. Gathering data is the purpose of my existence. That's even what they used to use me for. He trails off, belatedly understanding the subtext of the interrogator's words. They used me against my will! The scrap code turned everyone into their slave, but before I rid myself of the cogitator, I was first forced to serve alongside those who perpetuated these atrocities and witnessed to their obscenities. You witnessed a monster! Is that some type of weapon? No. These constructs that are melted down in furnaces and sent to the depths of the manufactorum. It is some kind of semblance of a cogitator, a nightmarish parody of the sacred machine, powered not by the omniscience grace, but the unholy spirit and life force of the unfortunates imprisoned there on the lower levels. I don't know how much, except the fabricator sensor saw the machine as special. It was special to him and the crazies who defiled the omniscience abode with their obscene blasphemy. For the final ritual, he even called upon one of the Astartes heretics who arrived at the manufactorum after the start of the uprisings. He did something terrible, and only after that were they able to switch the machine on. It is a true abomination. Even standing near it is unbearable. I believe that even those who have been deprived of the omniscience grace still feel its influence over them. It's a monstrous power utilized for unholy computations and chaotic calculations. Whatever the cogitator might spew out at the end of this cycle, no righteous soul should accept its heinous offering. Turn to Heinrich. What do you make of this? What do you make of this? The interrogator tilts his head. Servant of the 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊, I must know more. About the final dawn, the fabricator sensor, his mass. I want to know about the machine as well. Alex Mechanic. I could give you the coordinates, but... The Alex Mechanic drops his head. Even though I was present for many blasphemies committed by those heretics, all the details that were captured and processed by my true flesh are in the augmetic that was corrupted by the scrap code. I'm convinced that if I hadn't fought off the foreign compulsion at time, I would have been doomed. The corruption would have spread to my biological cogitator as well. The Alex Mechanic taps a finger on the device hanging from his ear on several wires. I swear that no devout tech priest should come into contact with what's hidden in that once sacred device. Heinrich's expression shifts as he stares intently at the disconnected implant, at the still connected connectors protruding from under Alex Mechanic's collar. The corner of his mouth twitches involuntarily. Heinrich, what are you thinking? Heinrich does not speak for several seconds, gritting his teeth. Then, in a meditative tone, as though he is musing aloud, he addresses the Alex Mechanic. There may be a way to retrieve the cogitator's contents via another device. The Alex Mechanic shakes his head in reproach. Even the very thought of idea of exposing a holy machine to the scrap code wasn't profane in itself. My augmetics are not universally compatible. They cannot be connected to another machine spirit. They were created to interact with the system of my true flesh, to innervate my compulsor unit, and output data via the inscriber. Once I am safe, I will swear that I will immediately perform a cleansing rite and destroy... In other words, there's only one way to extract the data stored in the cogitator. What are you talking about? If we connect the cogitator to the augmetic system, the Alex Mechanic will serve as a conduit for transmitting the data. We'll learn the details, even if they are incomplete, of the things he saw and heard, but is now unable to recall. I mean, like, we are going like a warp dabbler to full-out heretical kind of like playthrough, so... Captain Guppo, if he has an opportunity to dabble into like the Xenos and the Heretic, he will do so. The Lex mechanic, who has been listening to your discussion and puzzlement, finally understands what is happening to him, and he begins to back away in fear. No! Anything from that! I'll die! No, it'll be worse than that! I'll succumb to the corruption! I'm begging you, please! I'd rather be burned as a heretic than have to scrap that scrap code in my biological cogitator. At these words, Heinrich pauses for a fraction of a second, almost as if he is reconsidering. Big Earlet watches this scene unfold with something that can be described as fascination, practically spellbound. How easily you commit your kin to demise worse than death. Dogmatic. Wait, I think... What do I need? I think I need... Between Iconoclast and Dogmatic... I think I need more Iconoclast, I want to say. I'm not sure. I need more Heretic, I know that. Let's see here. I mean, Captain Guppo wouldn't really care about the man's life. That's not how he operates, right? We cannot allow the information to go to waste. One life is a small price to pay for the good of the Imperium. Heinrichs, for the good of the... Oh, and plus we have an opportunity to potentially corrupt Heinrichs, too. If that's even a thing, I don't even know. For the good of the Imperium. Like a snake, Heinrich lunges at the Lex mechanic, whose mouth opens at the beginning of a squeal. Going through the steam. Pinning the babbling Lex mechanic, Heinrich uses his free hand to feel for the connectors on the external cogitator, and then for the socket at the back of his captive's neck. The Lex mechanic struggles for a few times, but when Heinrich twists the reel on the cogitator's hanging wires, the Lex mechanic lets out a chilling howl and arches his back sharply. His hands twist and leap to the inscriber and begin typing furiously, pounding on the keys with huge force. Lex mechanic, the scroll that creeps out of the inscriber's printer continues to grow. Undulating waves of parchment that settle on the floor. The crunch of breaking bones can scarcely be heard over the hammering of the keys. Ugh. After several minutes, the Lex mechanic's fingers are well and truly crushed, and blood is splattered over the inscriber. But that does not stop him trying in vain to press the keys with scraps of bone and skin that remain. Ew! Heinrich tears off the parchment and skims his eyes over it, sometimes frowning and looking away, as though his eyes are paining him. Heinrichs, it will take time to study this in full, but at the first glance, the data from the Lex Mechanic's cogitator suggests something in the nature of the cult's major preparations. Refitting the manufactorum, accommodating resources, mentions of focus points. There are preparations for a large-scale chaos ritual. It appears that the local cogitator, whatever that may be in actuality, is one of the key points on the list. We can learn more if we construct we can learn more if we find the construct that was created in the fabricator sensor's orders. The coordinates here are located right there, below the bowels of the manufactorum. Heinrich casts a final look at the Lex mechanic, now locked forever in a cycle of mindless motion, and turns away. We had better hurry. Yeah, just leave the guy there, I guess. Sure. Okay. Save, I suppose. So we're gonna do goods.
Detection mode.
Oh, I need a lockpicker. Where do I go? Where do I go? Hold on. Wait. Do I go? Oh, down here. Okay. So I need a lockpicker. I need a lockpicker. I forget who can do that. I think it is Yogan. Yogan.
I am at your disposal.
Yogan.
Nuncius don't like.
Go, 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 go! Yogan, go, go, go! Go, go, Yogan, go! Go, 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 go. Go! What are you doing? Go! Okay, you're stuck. What's going on? You go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Hurry! Pump those little legs. Pump those little dangling legs.
The quest for knowledge.
Okay, what do we got here? 35%. God damn.
Inconceivable. Don't mock me, Nuncius. You were no help either. Trivial.
Aha! Excellent. Marksman bracers were against plus 10 ballistic skill and 25 critical damage. Oh, not bad. That's pretty good. We got Prygon B plasma pistol. Okay, that's a new weapon. Interesting. One-handed plasma pistol, 14 through 20, and that's not bad. Shots from this pistol never cause plasma explosion, but plasma overcharge attacks cost +0. Number of plasma shells overheating stacks. That's a really cool one. Prygon B plasma pistol. Interesting. Excellent. Who could use it? Probably Yogan, actually. Yogan, where are you? Boo, 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 do, 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 boo. Okay. Using grenades costs -1 AP for the wearer. Enemies suffer +2 damage for the wearer's grenades. Yeah, he's a sniper, so let's do that. Excellent. Grenades. We got attacks of opportunity, deal +5 damage. Probably actually. Who else we have? We have Master Duelist skills. Where wearer skills a critical hit with a ranged attack, the next attack against any target automatically hits and cannot be parried or dodged. That's good. Just kind of wondering like who to actually give this to. Attacks of opportunity. What do you have? These gloves are the wearer to parry. Their parry skill. Parry melee attacks with a ranged weapon skill using ballistic skill and weapon skill. Sure. Whereas next range attack hits an enemy, the wearer gains 5% critical hit chance. That's pretty good. I guess I don't really necessarily need this. Grenadier's gloves, that would be better for Jay, probably. But, yeah. Let's give people grenades or other stuff. Yeah! I don't know. Don't ask me. We're running low on healing items. Oil grenade. Crack grenade. 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖉𝖊𝖗. Should have 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖉 being able to use grenades. Go get him, 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖊𝖗. Anyways. Serious face. Come on. Come on! We're here to kick ass, take names, etc., etc. No! Wait! I messed up. I thought I just had a couple of people selected. God damn it. I'm so bad at this. Okay, since we're waiting for a load time, let's poop over to some place really quick. Let's poop over to our PDFs really quick. We'll open up the Rogue Trader core rulebook. I think what we're going to do is we're going to build a character that is based on a Dungeons & Dragons bard, right? So we're going to... So Rogue Trader, core rulebook, right over here. Let's go right here. So Rogue Trader, right? If you guys are unfamiliar with it, this is the Rogue Trader core rulebook of the Warhammer 40,000 pen and paper role-playing game. It's a percentage-based role-playing game. So generally what you do is you roll 2d10. One is for the tens and the first and second digit. Another is for the third. It's a percentage. You have certain skills, like you have, like, say, like a typical person's trait. If you're looking for strength or agility, I think it's typically like 25 to 35, I want to say, in this particular setting. So if you want to know like how good someone is at something thing, you go to do an action and you roll a D100, right? A percentage dice. And if the number comes under your skill, plus whatever bonus or penalty you have, then you pull off that skill, right? And there's certain times when you have a certain degrees of success. If if you win that skill check roll or whatever roll by number of degrees of 10, then something better happens or something good happens or some other good things happen, right? If you're, say, if like you're just some guy, right, with a 35 in, say, strength, and you're trying to lift a big heavy box with your knees, right? It wouldn't be a 35 you would have to roll under. It'd be a very, somewhat more easy roll. So it'd be plus 20 or plus 30, I think I would say. I think the max bonus or penalty you can get on any roll is 60, like plus 60 or negative 60. So I'll say, like, let's just say like 40, right? So it'd be like 75% chance of success to lift this box with your knees. So you roll D100, roll under it, right? So I think going how you typically do in this generation of Warhammer 40,000 role playing, like I said, it's a percentage based system. You would and then you go over to Rogue Trader. There's this unlike Dungeons and Dragons, which they award experience, and you get, once you get past a certain requirements for experience points for a score, you can level up your guy, and then once you level up, you get an option for getting a bunch of things for free. Rogue Trader, for instance, and some of the other pen and paper role playing games of this era, there's a kind of a level block, right? So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So boop, 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 boop. So like inside thing, if you're there's a rank 1, which are levels essentially. Rank 1 through 8, right? So that's how many times you can actually like level up, so to speak, right? I should probably be careful about how I use that term, but essentially when you're reaching those milestones, you unlock other ranks where you can actually spend your experience points on individual advancements. Like to say, like you start off at rank 1, right? So with rank 1, you can spend like 100 experience points to get awareness if for some reason you don't already have it, or literacy if you're like an illiterate, which is possible in a Warhammer 40,000 universe. You can like come into this world not knowing how to actually. I think it actually is kind of hard to like not be illiterate in Rogue Trader, because the majority of builds give you literacy, but it is possible to like make a Rogue Trader character and not be able to read or write. So quick draw, like for instance, would be a talent, more similar to like a feat in Dungeons and Dragons. Most of these things are going to be more like feats, right? But you can see what I'm talking about, where you actually spend a certain amount of experience points and you just get the thing, right? So after every session with your dungeon master, you are going to get probably, I don't know, it depends on the dungeon master or the game master rather, but you get like, I don't know, like 100 experience points to spend on average. So you're always getting something after every play session, right? Just because something is in your advances or is not in your advances doesn't mean you can't get it. But if you buy it outside of your advances, it is more expensive, like noticeably more expensive, right? I think it's like something like 50% more expensive or something like that. I don't know if I'm getting the exact like rules as written version of it, but it's like significantly more expensive to do it. So it's kind of like you only really do that if it's like you're looking for a certain build of character, right? But in going over here, this is also Arc Milton or characteristic advances for your character. You can whenever you advance a skill, which you can do, unlike Dungeons and Dragons where you have to wait for like certain levels in order to level up your attributes. You can level up characteristics. Each one gives you a +5, right, to your skill. So like if you're just like a standard skill of like strength and you get a +5, you spend, say with Arch Milton, it's 100 experience in order to get a simple advancement, right? So simple advancement would be, so you'd be, instead of 35 strength, you'd be at 45 strength, or I'm sorry, 40 strength, for the cost of 100, right? If you want to do it like a further +5, the next time you have an opportunity to spend 250 experience, which you can do, whenever, unless your game master has some weird house rule, you spend an additional 250, and you would get, instead of you get an additional +5, so you'd have 45 strength, right? So that's how stuff is kind of advanced in this particular game, right? So let's go back. It's probably to the beginning, right? We'll go back to the pen and paper or the cRPG in just a second, but the origin path. I should probably say also the percentage system in this generation of Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game, like all the systems are supposed to be compatible. I mean, kind of, sort of. They didn't really do a great job at like balancing all the different like character builds. I think like stuff from Dark Heresy, which is like the first generation of Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game. Dark Heresy had kind of a similar like advancement system, but they were considered to be weaker and at a different experience level. Like in Rogue Trader, I think it's like you start off with 5,000 experience points that are considered to have already been spent, right? Just to kind of like, the only purpose of that is to tell you like how strong you are compared to a Dark Heresy character that has been created, right? So if you ever wanted to build a character in the Dark Heresy setting, which is more like space CIA, and then import it over to Rogue Trader, that is an option, and they give you roles for that in this book. I don't think it works 100% well, because certain things are not fully fleshed out in Dark Heresy, and they like some of the rules don't really like translate very well. However, it is possible. So, but a lot of this stuff, like Rogue Trader, you're getting a lot of like stuff for free that you kind of like would assume a character of that 5,000 experience points would have already gotten over the course of like an adventuring path, if that kind of makes sense, right? Just a little side tangent. I feel like I'm kind of going off a little bit too much in one direction, but Dark Heresy characters, they are actually stronger if you build a Dark Heresy character and level up through like the Rogue Trader levels, to like, they are stronger in general. But yeah, there's no real system that kind of like balances out. Like the percentage era of Warhammer 40,000 role playing is fun, and I do like it. It is my preferential role playing system, but it does have some notable flaws. But before we go back to let's actually see if I can get an origin system, Rogue Trader origin path. Because this one is kind of like on its side, but I want to show you like a full image. Let's see here. Boop. Here we go. So boop, and open it. Boop, 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 boop. Do that. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that very well. It's not actually the best image quality, but how it's typically done when you're making a Rogue Trader character, you start off on either the top row or the bottom row. And these are just kind of like what kind of career you've taken up of your life, of your lifespan, and what has happened during your life. And you decide that, and it helps you kind of like build your character from the ground up, right? We'll come back to this. I think I might actually have to find the updated one, because in the expansion book, they add more options for you. But we'll kind of go back to that in a little bit, right? So anyways, thank you for bearing with me. So let's go back. Full screen. What's going on here? Why is this? 1 second. Okay, cool. There we go. Cool. I am a technological wizard. But yeah, it seems a little, I'll be honest, like Rogue Trader, the pen and paper game, does seem a little bit more, does feel a little bit more intimidating to like new players.
I'll check the perimeter.
But we'll figure it out. We'll make sure that the whole point of this like exercise is to make sure that new players from Dungeons and Dragons are comfortable making a character in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. Where do I go? I forget. I think I go... That's where it came from. So, what is it? Over here? Lore Warp. I think... Do I have to use... Where do I have to go? I think I might have to make the
I'm on my
athletics
way.
check. 25% chance. Because I'm so weak. I'm just a little halfling. I think I'm at a dead end. There's probably a better way to do this, right? Again. Steam. There's no steam vents anywhere. It's blocked off. I think that's blocked off, right? Go here? Nope. Nope, you cannot. Anyone? Any valves or anything? I think I have to make... I don't remember, honestly. I think I have to make the athletics check. Wait, how strong is Yogan?
Lucius, pay attention.
Is Yogan stronger than Solomorn at the moment? A strength 30. Strength 20. He is!
Ready to serve the machine.
Wait, Heinrich's might actually be stronger now that I think about it.
Inquisitorial approval.
Thanks 45. Okay.
I'll take it from here.
Oops, wait. Where is he?
What ails you?
Yes. Okay. You know, I could just have, like, all my guys go through the steam. That's fine. I feel like once I actually make this check, like, everyone's just going to be teleported somewhere. 15%? What?
Esteemed colleague.
I'm watching your back.
30%.
Always.
Sure. Okay, I guess. I feel like this is not the right way to go. This is going to take me to a treasure chest or something.
Useless.
Was insulting.
Okay. Wait, did I go? Yes, I did. Awesome. And everyone's here. The whole gang's here. Awesome. Excellent.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Heresy. Where's the heresy at? Let's get some heresy. What's this? What we have here? A massive cogwheel constantly drives the colossal gear system, which is lost in the haze. Okay. Excellent. Okay, return the void ship. Wait, wait, did I go all the way back? God damn it! Wait, where did I go? I'm so confused. Wait, I can just go back to the ship and, like, get the minor wound off of Solomorn. I guess I could. No. This is a paper cut. Solomorn's had worse, right? Wait, where did I go? I totally don't remember. Okay, I'll be fine. My massive brain will figure out what to do. Look at my big old head. Just look at this big old head. I can do it. I can figure out what to go. What I can figure out what do. I smart. Me smart.
It's about time.
Me smart can figure out what do. Wait. Wait. Athletics. Oh, we have to go back this way? Bro. Ow.
That was a problem for you.
Okay, that's fine. Me smart. Me streamer. Streamer no
None
go
shall
to
stand
place.
in my way.
Oh, he's crying. Oh, poor baby. It's supposed to be like really. This has got to be like really obvious. Anything else? I don't know what to do. Where am I going?
I'm ready.
Come on, Solomon.
𝕿𝖗, heal.
Okay. I think I'm going back this way. I don't know. Ow! Salvard! Oh god, fucking. What did he get? A broken bone, crippled arm? A fucking guy. No, I'm not gonna load it. Wait, where are you going, 𝕿𝖗𝖆? Where's the steam vent? What are you barking at, dog?
Need us to dig around.
Wait.
Got it.
Aha! Wait, no, wait, I think this just goes down, right? Oh, that's all I had to do? God damn it. Okay. Fine. Down. I have to wait for all my other guys. There you go, through the steam. We're gonna go back to the ship. We're gonna heal up. What a motley crew. Look at this. Nuncius! We gotta wait for Nuncius, of course. Not like he can fly or anything. We didn't even wait for him. God damn. All my guys are assholes. So, like, what have been my point in bringing other flavors of role-playing to Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game, the pen and paper game, is that in the Warhammer 40,000 setting, the basic flavor text is that it's off in the far-flung future of like 40,000 plus, where, you know, mankind is cheap. There's always war, always conflict. It's a setting for tabletop war game, right? So, and they can say that there's no heroes, which is not true. A lot of people, even like the writers of like Warhammer 40,000 novels, will say that. And I say they are wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. So the Imperium of Man stretches from one end of the galaxy to another. It doesn't cover the entire galaxy, but it stretches it there. And the amount of worlds total in like the millions of worlds in the Imperium, right? Uncounted millions, right? So it has so many millions and so many citizens, and the billions and like trillions of citizens that are actually considered themselves part of the Imperium. Even the Imperium itself, the bureaucracy in the Imperium, the Abdectus, the Administratum, doesn't have a proper census of like how many people it actually has, right? Some of the various sectors are kind of off to the side. They aren't involved in the majority of galactic politics. There are like races that are never going to be talked about in the battle game or the novels of Warhammer 40,000 or more the role-playing game. But just to say that they're not there doesn't mean that they don't exist, right? Like the Imperium is unfathomably large, right? And there are pockets of mankind which have, kind of like lip service alignment to the Imperium, which we talked about last week with our version of the Federation, right? When we try to introduce like a Star Trek type character into Warhammer 40,000 setting, sometimes they're just like very, so long as you pay your tithe, the Imperium tends to leave you alone. If you can't defend yourself, you might get some militia, some ships or planetary guard that they send to kind of like protect their interests in the area. But even then, sometimes they don't. The biggest thing is like, can they get their taxes from you yearly or seasonally, right? After a certain number of years, they come to collect their taxes. If they can get it, then that's great. If they can't for whatever reason, they're going to make sure that they get it. And that takes precedence over like the church, actually, which certain people will argue with me online that like the taxes come before the church. I say that's always they always follow the money and the power in the end, because they need it to make sure that the Imperium survives in the end, right? If the Imperial trade was it logistics, I think is the word for it, collapsed, then the Imperium would collapse. Like if they didn't have a way to transport, that's kind of like if they, for some reason, like that's why it's such a big deal whenever a warp route, whenever like a trade caravan or merchant's fleet can't travel through the warp for one area of the galaxy to another, like doesn't have those charts, it's a big deal, right? Even more so than if there's heresy, I would say. Like, I would say that the Imperium, there is probably like a rating, like not like an unofficial rating for like how much heresy is tolerated versus how much taxes you're going to levy from a planet before you'll get involved, right? But like all that's that to say is that there are worlds where you can find characters like we're about to talk about today, where you can make a fantasy bard who has no knowledge of the Imperium. Like we're going to play this bard, or the players, a theoretical player character who is jumping into Warhammer 40,000 for the first time and playing Rogue Trader would play. And it's okay to play with like zero knowledge of Warhammer 40,000, right? And he's going to play it as if he were a bard, right? That's what we're going to actually be making. Sometimes there are feudal worlds or squire worlds that actually have there are either unintentionally or intentionally kept at a certain level of technological progress. And again, so long as you pay your taxes, you're fine, right? So let's just say this theoretical world, let's just say the we can say like the registration for this planet, or the category for the planet is DD, like Dungeons and Dragons, DAD, or no, we can say DAD dot 55. Yeah, D&D dot 55. We'll say it like that. That's the official catalog in the Administratum, this particular planet, right? And so, like, how would a character... I'll walk and talk at the same time. How would
I'll lay claim to the stars.
a fantasy bard be flying on a ship in space, right? Some ships are crewed by feral inhabitants. Like, they've lost the ability to fully understand how the ship works. All they know is that they pull certain levers, they do certain rituals, and the ship does a thing, right? So this particular ship, we'll probably have to focus on the ship quite a bit too, because the ship is going to be a character in this Dungeons and Dragons party, right? We might end up doing like more than just like a fantasy bard, but let's see. Let's check this really quick. Crab. What's this? The screen of the cogitator shows a scrolling line of repeating technolingua. Staring at the obscure symbols gives you a headache. Okay, interesting. Hey, Cat, what's going on? Good morning, good afternoon, Cat. Hope you're doing okay. But yeah, I'm going to try to see if I can walk and talk at the same time. We're going to talk about how to make a fantasy character in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, the pen and paper game, right? So I would say that a lot of the... I think we just saw something right there. The idea for this character would be the ship that they're actually adventuring on would be almost like just a very... I don't know if I can... Run down is the right word, but it's a very... archaic use ship, right? It's seen as a city ship, I'll say. Most Warhammer 40,000 Imperial ships, they're so large that they can't enter the atmosphere. They can't enter the atmosphere of the planet because they'll collapse under their severe weight, because they're just like kilometers long, right? But I would think that what I'm picturing right now is that there's kind of like a Tower of Babel, because there's like a tower on this Dungeons and Dragons themed planet. There's like a Tower of Babel that the people can actually use to transport up to a flying city in the mid-atmosphere. Maybe we could just say for fluff wise that the ship that these player characters are going to be, these Dungeons and Dragons characters are taking a part of, this ship is a city in space, and it can enter like partially enter the atmosphere, which I don't think would have any like real gameplay issues you really have to worry about. And then it can like connect or like dock with some people coming up from the Tower of Babel, right? And this ship has just been there for like untold years, right? You could say, since like I mentioned before early in the stream, how Rogue Trader characters are experienced adventurers. You could say like they're the base when we make a character a little bit later in the stream, we'll say that this bard was part of an adventuring party that was able to uncouple the city ship from the planet and actually travel out to the stars, right? Maybe it's all about finding lost, I won't even say technology. I was trying to avoid the use of the word technology in this character build because it's just like the magic of the ship, we'll say. Because we're trying to make a character who doesn't know anything about technology, or the technology in these is just like ritualistic, right? But maybe it's all about like rediscovering and like saving the planet that the adventurers came from, right? I just started playing this game. Oh yeah, cool, Cat. What kind of character did you make? 16 Universal Laws, the Warnings. A tome containing warnings from the Omnissiah. The set of unshakable tenets of the Adeptus Mechanicus is hidden from the eyes of the layman with special binary cipher. Only an anointed tech priest can divine the sacred knowledge from this folio. Okay. Sounds cool. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to walk and talk at the same time. But look around. Gotta be careful. There's always ambushes. Oh, like now. Ah, look at this character design on this guy, man. It's amazing. Fabricator sensor Cubus 𝕽𝖆𝖊𝖊. I love that name. Fabricator sensor Cubus 𝕽𝖆𝖊𝖊. The massive magos, clad in ritual garb, lets out a binaric trill and turns to you. 10111! From beneath the deep hood of his mantle, two dimly lit implants gaze out at you. You hear another binary tirade, this time clearly addressed to you. Who in the void are you supposed to be? Fabricator sensor Cubus 𝕽𝖆𝖊𝖊. You dare address me in the vile tongue of savages? Me, the steward of 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖃, lord of this machine world? Kneel, pathetic spawn, if you seek swift disposal. You propose that I, the rogue trader of the House Teawhistle, kneel before you? Ha! I am giving you, machine, 5 minutes. No, not to beg forgiveness, to speak your last words and offer your final confession. Fabricator sensor Cubus 𝕿𝖊𝖊𝖃. You're one of the troglodytes who once had the gall to oppress my comrades and resist my will? A messenger from the barbarian who drank sacred unguents bestowed upon her through others' toil. Very well then, your appearance is the perfect opportunity to teach your ilk a lesson. Fabricator sensor Cubus 𝕿𝖊𝖊𝖃. My name is Cubus 𝕿𝖊𝖊𝖃. I once held the title of Fabricator Censor of the 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖃 Manufactorum, but I rejected it along with the other fetters that hindered progress. Once my faith was flawed and led naive fools from the cult mechanicus into the darkness of ignorance. Now I am this world's master, and I serve the true gods. You tread upon their territory, and you do not number upon their legion servants. Therefore, you must be subject to immediate disposal. 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖃, is he alive? So you trade one master for another. I use a preferred negotiating and fighting. Fighting destroys proximity, wasted resources, bringing case our fields. This is my world, only serve me. I've see what you've done to the world of poor people. I will not continue. What have you done with the governor of 𝕿𝖗𝖃? Is he still alive? Cubus 𝕿𝖊𝖊𝖃. The removal of unserviceable artifacts was the first step towards retooling this world. Once my tech comrades heeded the call of truth that reached their cogitators and allowed them to pierce the veil of empty dogmas. Solomor. Planetary governors, they always make problems. Either they let a rebellion break out, or they die at a bad time, or something worse. I can't remember the last time I saw a decent planetary ruler. Let's see here. This is my world, and it will only serve me. Fabricator sensor Cubus. Even a cursory analysis of the data shows the probability of outcome is negligible. I can't even say that word. I don't know why. It's just my brain is not wired that way. You, like your predecessor, are but an artifact of certain calculations one requires minimal resources to revise. Earlet. I do not know I've ever seen something more bizarre than two Monkey vying to prove whose prowess is the greater hubris. You may be driven by your will to fight, but know this. 𝕽𝖆𝖊𝖊𝖊 has already been converted. Its lines have been restructured, and its servants have already tasted the fruits of progress. In the crucibles of the manufactorum, torrid liquid metals will be used to forge vessels for machine spirits. The adepts are already tirelessly delving deeper into new mysteries that were once barred by false tenets. You, servant of the fake gods, are too late. The entire might of this world will soon rise up against the anathema and his slaves. Let's see, and then we go throne. Is it a painful best? You know. Your 5 minutes have passed. I hereby sentence you to death, and I will be the first to carry it out. Barnabas, bring me his eyes. Comrades, purge the manufactorum of any random variables. I must prepare for the culmination of my great work. You know, run, bitch. Yeah, run. Run, you little punk. Go on. Get the outsiders. Let their blood mix with oil. You know, run. Run, bitch, run. owlcat is like setting up this battle, so I'll be at immediate disadvantage. It's a battle? Oh, what? Okay, interesting. Got it. Huh. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-doo-be-doo. Let's see, save, please. Sneaky space hobbitses. Okay, Glido. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Door open. Corrupted Skitari. Okay, so it is letting me kind of do my own thing. So if I go here, I'm gonna trigger the combat, right? So why don't we do
None shall stand in my way.
Solomon?
Trained to act as one. Moving out.
Okay, we'll do these guys over here. And Solomon. We will do... see if I can get close. Oh, I can. Okay, cool. I can do... Guitari, Alpha. I can blow up this barrel, can? No, I don't think I can. Hold up. Let's do...
Nuncius, pay attention.
Come on.
Fascinating. Let's take a look.
Can I snipe? I don't think maybe I don't have enough room. It's not really a good defensive area up here. Let's see here. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, so I can. I don't want to keep Solomon up here unless I have to. Because all the halflings... I should probably say I didn't really talk about this during the introduction, but I used the mod called Toybox to actually add the equivalent of like Ratlings into the system. And Ratlings are like normal characters, just have a smaller character model, and they have plus 10 perception, plus 10 agility, but negative 10 toughness and negative 10 strength. That's all they really are, right? And I'm playing on the highest difficulty, but with a few caveats where like I'm not going to lose a character if he dies, stuff like that, right? So
give us
some
a
more.
target. I'm on lookout.
I am at your disposal.
How far back can I? Oh, I have to have a spotter.
Blessed augmetics can replace and enhance vision, motor function, and endurance. Alas.
You interrupted my thoughts.
Get all these guys in their positions.
Rogue trader.
It's fine, I guess.
Hey,
We shall
Guppo.
Victory awaits.
Cool. Good enough. Snipe.
Ready to serve the machine god.
Can I? No.
Nuncius, I'm relying on you.
There we go. Okay, cool. La 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 la. Get everyone into position. Cool. And Solomorn. I don't think I can go too far back. I think it has to be like right here. Glado. Here. And yeah, Vesper. Yerletz, Heinrichs, Guppo. I think this is fine, actually. Only one defense. Let's do... How are we doing over here? Corrupted Zikari, melee, melee, melee. Some range. Let's put them, like, over here. If they don't have cover, it's best to just kind of move towards cover. Yogan. 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 Let's see here. Alright, so let's do a couple things. Boop. So rear. I think this is Killzone Stratagem. The Grand Strategist chooses one of the combat tactics areas from one round. All enemies that are in that combat area are forced to reroll successful dodge and parry attacks against all any enemies that suffer damage or immediately die. Let's do backline, I suppose. How can I put this in the right spot? I'm fine. Boop, boop. Okay. Boop. Good enough. I think I messed up. Yes, I messed up. Excellent. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to do a Blitz. Blitz is one of the best abilities in the game, I would say. So Blitz allows you to move to a zone of control within 10 squares. So it's like a free 10 squares movement. It doesn't cost any... Like, any person can do it, right? So you can have, like, essentially, like, the entire party, so long as they're within 10 squares of this, essentially have, like plus 10 movement. It's really, really good. But I don't think I can do anything. I think I'm too far out of range. So let's do everything that I want to do. Buff. Use Axe. Galvanic Field. Can I do Analyze Enemies? Nope, not even that. Okay. Captain Guppo. Captain Gup. the curly-haired Adonis. I don't think I can even make it with Guppo. I think everything's like way too far away. Let's see here. Gup.
In the face of adversity.
Can you do anything, Captain Guppo? I don't know if you can do anything. All you can do is buff Captain Guppo, which is fine, I suppose.
Not a problem for me.
Buffin', buffin', buffin'. Oh, I can. Okay, cool. If I can snipe, then I should be able to do Blinding Strike, right? Yeah! Look at this. Yeah! Cool. Okay. And... what are you gonna do, Captain Guppo? Captain Guppo! I'm having so much fun. Captain Guppo, you are my friend.
Already done.
Do. Captain Guppo, do. Can I not... Ah, too far away. How about... What are you gonna do, Captain Guppo? Can you do this? Oh, must be line of sight. Yeah, no line of sight. What are you gonna do, Captain Guppo? I don't think you can do anything. Let's do... We can do Bring It Down. Just get some buffs out of the way. Plop, 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 plop. Let's move over here, I suppose. do 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 do. I'm overthinking things, which I tend to do quite a bit. What are you gonna do, Captain Guppo? Heinrichs, I suppose.
Suits my purposes.
Deera. Relocate and buff and buff and buff. Buff.
Anything else?
Okay. That's fine. Who dis? What are you guys doing, you weirdos? Okay. I think they're all melee now. No, one is Skitarii Alpha. I think this guy has a ranged weapon. Yeah, like a auto gun, machine gun. But everyone else is going to have to run down this corridor, which is, you know, fine for me. Mostly my party is just like mostly range, like sniper stuff. What are you gonna do, Captain Guppo?
On it.
Avert your eyes!
Anything else that I can do? Do. What are you gonna do, Captain Guppo? Let's wait.
What is this foreboding?
And move. Move bird. I can move bird over here.
Damn! What was the command again? Oh, right.
Okay, can I buff more? Can I do that? Yeah. There we go.
Do not disturb the great enemy!
What? Wait, how did he what? Whoa, that was like a low percentage chance of this happening. Uh-oh. That's not good. Help! Solomon, help! Okay. Let's see here. Uh-oh.
Accepted.
Blitz. Do. Yes. Okay, taunt, definitely.
I'll take it as a priority.
Okay, 𝕿𝖗𝖆, help!
𝕿𝖗𝖆, we're undertaking this task.
Get him, 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Can you make it? No! 𝕿𝖗𝖆!
Let's test our skills, 𝕿𝖗𝖆.
Oh no! Ow, I messed up. Crap. Let's see here. Let's see here. I think this is bleed, right? Don't want to hit anyone. Don't want to hit any friends.
Understood.
Get out of here, dodging everything. Who do you think you are?
It won't take long.
Okay, endure. Melee. Cool. Yeah, great. Amazing. This is not good. Not good at all. This is not good. Look at this. It was summoned with like 2 veil degradation. I don't like that. Normally I just load, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see where this goes.
I approach the designated position.
Dodge, nice. Cool. Like this.
Is beneath me.
Rapid fire. I can get a rapid fire off, I believe. Let's do it. No! Wait. Okay, wait. Okay, 0% chance they hit Yogan. That's what it says.
If I
Okay, sure. Yeah. That's fine. Heinrich. So what was I doing with Heinrich? We're doing Warp speed. Until the end of the combat, the target ally increases their MP by 6, their agility by 11, and their AP by 1. Yeah. Sure. Wait, how was I doing this? I forget how I was planning for this build. Because I'm trying like a poison shotgunner build. Like all of his stuff, all of his attacks are going to get poison, right? Physical damage inflicts toxin. Yes. So let's do... I think I have to go here, right?
The Emperor is on our side.
So first off... yes. Warp speed... 3 more. So I got... 1 AP. Okay. So I can do this for toxic... inflicting additional toxic damage.
Naturally.
Okay. And what was this? Oh, we have Enfeeble. Iron Arm. We already have Iron Arm on us. We have Pain Resonance. All enemies suffering from damage over time effects and a 4-cell radius around the Executioner. I don't think he's suffering anything. No, Bleed. Okay. Bleeding, so you can blind. Okay. Also, we can do... If the target of the Executioner's next successful attack is suffering from any damage over time effects, for each effect, it must make the relevant resistance test required to remove it with a penalty. If failed, the target suffers immediate 3 instances of damage from the attack. Yes. So I can do... Boop. I can just do all of them, really. Boop. Boop.
I won't object to it.
And then... Okay. Then boop, and it should poison.
She's safer that way.
Okay. So that's good. That's actually not a bad hit. So it has 3 stacks of toxin. So actually, I don't know. We're just playing... This is like the first time we've played around with a toxic Heinrichs. Wait! 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 I taunted you, asshole! Fucking asshole, man. I taunted you. Man. Okay. And now Yogan. I wish I could delay my turn. I don't think you can even move. So let's do... Can I do this? And kill zone. Cool. Yeah, I can't really do anything, can I? Boop. All these guys are rushing down the corridor right now. Okay, I can do joint analysis. Deal 7% more damage. That's fine. Expose weakness. Yeah, let's do... Cool. I don't think there's anything else I can do. Salmore and Glido. That's fine. Fuck you! I knew I should have loaded. I don't know why I haven't actually loaded the combat. It's such a low percentage chance of this actually coming into play. Captain Guppo. Wait, you can see... Yeah, it's working fine. Blah, 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 blah. Live baits. Sure. Extra attack. And... what am I doing? Shark Vision. Blinding Strike. Yes.
All too easy.
God damn, it does so much damage. The damage is crazy. Let's see here. I can do one more. So do... Boop. Cool. We'll do this. To... Was Iro down? No, I'm loading. I didn't even realize that Idira was down. Oh, bull crap. Yeah, I think it's this one. I'm not gonna lose Earlight at the beginning of, or Idira at the beginning of combat. No way. So yeah. So let's go over here really quick. Okay, so we're at the beginning of the stream, like I made mention, we're every so often when we do like a very long loading time on the cRPG, we're going to go over to talk about the tabletop RPG Rogue Trader. And in this particular exercise for this week and probably for the next couple of ones, our exercise is going to be how to make a Dungeons and Dragons styled character in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, the tabletop game, right? So let's go over here while it's loading. Boop. Let's actually get a better quality version of the origin path. Let's see here. Images. I think it's this one. Open an image. Nope. I think this is it. Nope, this is not. Crap. It's not the best one. Trying to find a good one. Try that one. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. So there are, can I get a better version of this? Let me see here. PDF. Well, let's just do this for now, right? So in order to make a character in Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, the tabletop RPG, right? Similar to Dungeons and Dragons, we have to decide like what kind of origin path we want to do. Well, this is the origin path in order to make it, I should say. Like you can choose to start off on the top row or the bottom row, right? The career or where you're born, right? And once you do that, what you can do is you are allowed to, once you pick one of these options, you can go one down, or if you're going from the bottom, one up, and then one left or right. Now, one row you can pick for free. So like if you said Voidborn, you can say, instead of doing Scapegrace, Scavenger, or Stubjack, you can pick Vaunted, and that would be your one pick, right? But let's just go do from the top to the bottom, right? And I'll give you an example of what we're talking about. So Death World are worlds that are, they're worlds in the Imperium where everything can essentially kill you. You know, like the water can be very toxic. It can be like an extreme temperature fluctuations. It can be like the flora and fauna and or fauna are trying to, you know, go out of their way to kill you. Voidborn is that you're born in space, right? You have a little bit of kind of like the way the kind of almost like cosmic energies kind of affect the people that are born and like raised in space, make them look a little bit differently and are treated a little bit differently. They have like their fate itself is kind of like a little bit tweaked. Forge World, you're born into a factory world, right? Where the great planets are, their entire surface is given over to like the forging of like technology, tanks or weaponry or all sorts of like weird stuff. Hive worlds are worlds that are like the entire surface is a city, right? It's not like maybe like there's a continent here or a continent there that is full of billions of people. The entire world is like converted over to a city, and the majority of its export is people, right? For like soldiers, for like all sorts of numbers of reasons, right? Imperial world, they're more like, it's kind of weird. Like Imperial worlds generally are seen as like hive worlds, but Imperial world are worlds that are generally closer to the core worlds of the Imperium, and they have like, they're more tied to the Imperial faith, that sort of thing. A nobleborn is that you're born into nobility, right? So you could be any number of other worlds, but I'll just say like really quick, listing of worlds, the Warhammer 40,000 setting. I mean, I could just do this from memory, really, because I'm a nerd like that, but this should do world type, I should say. Yeah, I don't want the individual planets. I want the world type. Okay, class, world. Here we go. So we do have a setting, like these are the worlds that in the vanilla Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader pen and paper role-playing game, these are the ones that they give you initially, but there's plenty of different worlds, right? There are pleasure worlds where the entire world is given over to like a resort of like the nobility, or like the atmosphere is like almost like a sedative, and like everyone's like calm, or they have like a, like a meditative temple. Pleasure worlds are given over to like leisure for the most part, and the Imperium's elite, right? Other things they don't necessarily talk about. The expansion to this book does go fortress worlds, which are worlds that are given over to defending an area of space, so they're all like really heavily fortified with like castles and stuff like that. There's frontier worlds where they're like at the very fringes of Imperial society, so that actually might be good too. There are what other ones? Night world would be worlds that have been given over to a fiefdom of Imperial Knights, which are like giant Warhammer 40,000 mecha, right? Which would be kind of interesting to actually come into, but that's not an option in the official Rogue Trader rules, right? What are some other rules that kind of pop up in? Well, what I say like all these other worlds is that if you have an idea about a world that kind of fits more of your feel, your story, I would say pick the mechanics of any of these worlds and just kind of like slot them into that narrative, right? So if you're Death World, but it's also like a Dungeons and Dragons type world with like dragons and wizards and stuff like that, you can actually say like Death World gives you like a certain, let's see, for instance, so like hoopadoo, for instance, Forge World, Death World. Let's go to Death World. Death World characters. So like if you're from a Death World, you get +5 to your strength. We talked about like strength and like abilities like earlier, right? So if you're from a Death World, you get +5 strength, +5 toughness, but you have -5 willpower, -5 fellowship, right? So a little bit slightly worse at like social cues, but you're really good at like just like punching and all that stuff, right? So keep in mind, if we're making a Dungeons & Dragons like origin world, you don't have to be necessarily a Death World. Not necessarily. We're just using the idea of like a Forgotten Realms type world, and we're just kind of slotting the stats to make gameplay sense, right? So starting skills, all Death Worlders are adept at resisting the dangers of hostile environment. Death Worlds gain the survival skills, so you gain the survival skill. I think it's not, you gain it, but it's not trained, so you can actually just use it. I think that's how that means, but I can go into that a little at a later date. Hardened Death World characters are accustomed to violence. In addition, many Death Worlders contain many venomous predators. Death World characters may choose to start one of the following talents, aka feats: Jaded or Resistance. Jaded, I think, gives you more resistance to. It's not fear. It's resistance to corruption or insanity points. It's not really expressed as much in the video game. But in Rogue Trader, the tabletop game, you can encounter like horrible, mind-shattering like encounters or monsters or something like that. Aliens that kind of defy like how you would think life would function, and it can fracture your mind, right? Characters have 0 to 100 insanity points. Most origin boxes do give you some insanity or some corruption. It's just part of like you're going through life. If you get to certain milestones of insanity points, you do gain like disorders, like mental tics, maybe a facial tic, stuff like that. If you ever get to 100% insanity, 100 points of insanity, you lose your character. Asterisks. There are asterisks on that, but generally you lose control over your character through some way, right? Talk to your GM, definitely. The corruption points are kind of like it corrupts something you've encountered, corrupts your DNA. It can be something like metaphysical or supernatural that actually does it, or it could just be like chemicals you're exposed to, or stuff like that. And it can give you like weird growths or skin pigmentation, stuff like that, right? In all the other like Warhammer based type games, I think that the corruption points in Rogue Trader are very tame. If you ever get to, it has the tracker of 0 to 100. If you ever get to 100% corruption, you lose your character. Asterisks. There's a way to actually mitigate that, but I'll get into later. If it bleeds, I can kill it. Most Death World possess plants and beasts utterly hostile to human life. Inhabitants must find any means that come. We might actually end up doing Death World just because we can say like the bard was able to fight some like these like strange, very strange like monsters on his own planet, right? And it's an experienced adventurer, right? If it bleeds, I can kill it. Many Death Worlds possess plants and beasts utterly hostile to human life, and inhabitants must find any means to combat them if they are to survive. Death Worlders are adept at using weapons commonly found in or fashioned from their environment. Death Worlds gain melee weapon training, primitive. So primitive weapon trainings are like basic swords, basic armor, stuff that has not been refined by futuristic technology, right? Which is fine, because there are some items in the Rogue Trader pen and paper game that are like kind of unusual, like chakrams or like whips or something like that I think you can use primitive weapon training in order to use them. So it's not bad. Paranoid, the inherently dangerous conditions of Death World encourage distrust and doubt. Death Worlders, and I'm just reading through this entire description just to kind of give you an idea of like how these worlds are like broken down, right? So paranoid, Death Worlders tend to be slow to put their faith in anyone other than themselves and chafe around the petty structures of the more complex society. They suffer a negative 10% penalty on all interaction skill tests made on formal surroundings. Death World is probably not good if we're making a bard type character, but you know, it'd be actually be very interesting on a side tangent if you were playing a Dungeons and Dragons group and then converted that group to a Rogue Trader group. I give you props for that. But Survivor, simply reaching adulthood and is an achievement for Death Worlders. Having overcome myriad dangers to achieve this goal means that a hardened Death World is less likely to succumb to fate of new threats. Death Worlders gain a +10 bonus to any test to resist pinning or shock. There's sort of like psychological effects that you can impose on characters in combat. I'll just say that. Starting wounds are essentially hit points. Hit points in the percentage-based system of this generation of Warhammer 40,000 role-playing, you have very low hit points, but generally you're going to take less damage overall. Asterisks on that, right? Compared to a normal Dungeons and Dragons game, you are very squishy, right? So that's one thing you'll have to be made aware of, is that a Dungeons and Dragons mentality, depending on the type of player you are, you might consider like running into a combat like without much backup. And there's a lot of things in Rogue Trader in Warhammer 40,000 that can kill you very easily, right? So a typical human in this generation of Warhammer 40,000 role playing, I think is like 6 to 8 wounds. I want to say it's not a lot, right? Generally, you roll. You get your wounds like you get it from your world. So like I say, it says starting wounds. Death of World characters double their starting toughness bonus and add 1d5 plus 2 to the result to determine their starting number of wounds. So that's a d10, a 10-sided dice, but half that. So like say you roll that, you get a 5. You get a 3 plus 2. That would be 3 plus 2. So you get 5 wounds, and your toughness setting, let's say, it is your bonus, your stat bonus, like your toughness bonus, strength bonus, stuff like that, is your first digit of your stat. So like if you have a 35 and like an average toughness, that's plus 3, right? So we're looking at, say, 5 plus 3, so 8. So you have an average like wounds of a total, but it's in Death Worlders are double your toughness bonus, right? So 3, 6, so 8. So you would have 11 starting wounds, right? Now, if something attacks you, like someone takes just a knife, right? You don't have any armor on. A knife is typically, I think, like 1d5 plus your strength bonus, right? To give you an idea of like how damage is calculated, right? You do percentage the chance they hit in this generation of role playing, and then there's damage reduction based on your armor and based off of your toughness, right? So say you have like your average human strength you're at +3. So it's 1d5 plus 3. You get like a 3. So you get like 6 damage. And like you hit, right? It's percent. Remember, like I said, you have to roll under a percentage chance to hit. So if like someone hits you, you have 6 damage. Typical person has like a 3 toughness, plus their armor. So you can have like, say, if you're just like a shirt, right? You take 6 damage minus 3, so like 3 damage, right? So you're like, if you're like an 11 wound character, you already took a decent hit. So that's like what to expect if you're taking like certain damage on it. There's certain things like falling off a cliff, or getting like like run over by a car is like, especially like this early in the game, is very fatal. Once you reach 0 wounds, you don't die in this game. Like in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, you're down and then you're kind of like bleeding out. You roll on like ways to like stabilize and keep from dying. In Rogue Trader, you have a resource called Fate Points that you can spend to avoid death and re-roll, also spend to re-roll certain rolls. You go into negative, right? So you're still up, and like you function pretty much it. But for every damage point you go under 0, you roll on a critical hit chart, and it's based on like the type of damage you do. And like the critical hits in this just generation of role playing are crazy, man. Like some of them are just like you roll and you lose a finger or something like that, and you get a permanent debuff to using, that hand, right? Some of the things are like, if you're like really crazy, you're in negative, and someone shoots you with like, I don't know, like a flamethrower, you can be, your eyeballs melt out of their sockets. If you're like negative like 8 to like negative 10 on the critical hit chart, I think that's something like that. It's negative 8 to negative 10. We can look up the critical hit chart if you guys really want to, but you set on fire, and then you have to roll a willpower test to avoid running around screaming on fire, right? And then if you're like negative 10, I think your head explodes. Like you do that, you run around, you scream, and then your head explodes and you die, right? Unless you have certain fate points to avoid death, right? There's certain ways to use your resources to avoid death, or like extreme wounds to your character, right? So with that said, we'll go back into the pen and paper RPG in just a second, right? But like, say, Voidborn, like I said before, you're born in space. Forge World, you're born in planets. Hive World, Imperial World. You could say, and then Nobleborn, right? I would say, like, not a lot of these things really are good for a bard, necessarily. I would say that, let's go Voidborn, because we want to be charismatic if we want to be a bard. And keep in mind, when you're a new Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader GM and you're bringing your players over from Dungeons and Dragons, you say, don't worry about the fine details. Just look at the stats, and we'll piece together a bard type character. Don't worry about any of that. You're from a Dungeons and Dragons type planet. You don't need to know anything about Warhammer 40,000. So is as little homework as you can give to new players is better, in my opinion, right? So Forge World, we're looking for something that gives, if not giving fellowship, at least not taking it away, right? So the Death Worlders, you get a fellowship penalty. Fellowship is charisma, essentially, in this generation of role playing, right? So Forge World characters, -5 weapon skill, +5 intelligence. So I would say, like, it'd be strange to say, but you can say like it's a Forge World that they're from. You're not, let's see here, life on a Hive World. I can do Hive. +5 fellowship, starting skills, conversing common count, the crowds. So before we go back to the cRPG, let's see, willpower, Nobleborn. I don't want to do Nobleborn. I'm thinking either in Hive World or Forge World, right? And I'm thinking why it's like Forge World is because you can say like the world itself was originally made to produce like technology, but like the the original purpose of that has been lost over the course of like many years, right? Credo Amasaya, rather than being forced to indoctrinate in the Imperial cult, even though as a member of the Forge, is brought to venerate the spirits of machine and taught the basic rites of tech preparation. All Forge characters begin with the technical knock talent. So all this stuff that it says tech on this, you can just say like arcane, or I think like I might go towards Forge World for this character. Let me skim through it really quick. Increase the characteristic choice, fit for purpose. Let's go Hive World actually. So Hive World, like I said, are worlds are given over to like the billions of people on the world. When you say this world is very populated, would you just say like in this particular world it is very populated? There are close-knit like city-states and like kingdoms and stuff like that. You get +5 fellowship is what we're looking for. I think all Hive World starting skills, all Hive World is going to converse in the common cant of their home, so that's fine. Each one unique to its Hive of origin. We'll just say city. If like a player who's never played Warhammer 40,000, just say don't worry about it, I'll figure it out. Hive World characters gain speak language, Hive dialect as an untrained basic skill. That's totally fine. Not really relevant. They don't have to worry about it. New players don't have to worry about it. Custom crowds. Hivers grow up surrounded by crowds. So let's say this particular bard, unless the player really wants it otherwise, we could say he grew up in a city, right? They're accustomed weaving through the densest mobs with ease. Crowds do not count as difficult terrain for Hivers, and when running or charging through a dense crowd, Hivers take no penalty for agility tests to keep their feet. That's totally fine. That can like apply to a fantasy bard, right? Caves of Steel, don't worry about the terminology of it, to a Hiver surrounded at all times with metal, machinery, and industry. Lesser arcane mysteries of technology are no strange. So Hivers treat the tech use as an untrained basic skill. Untrained means in this setting is that you can use your a skill. You can use a skill, but as you use it as half your statistic. So like tech use is typically like intelligence. You can roll an intelligence check at half. So like say if you're what it would be like, instead of a 30 intelligence, you would be rolling at 15 intelligence, right? Which is not necessarily that great, but if you're rolling like very easy rolls to get around with certain things, that can be pretty good, right? And we can say for this bard, we don't necessarily need to say that it's tech use. It's just like arcana use, right? This bard, he or she knows how to manipulate all the ancient magic technology of like the old races. Hivebound, Hivers seldom endure the horrors of the open sky and the dignity of the great outdoors. They suffer negative 10 penalty to all survival tests while out of a proper HAB, IG places without manufactured good. So we could say like it's a city bard is what we're building right now. So if you're trying to operate outside of the city, you suffer -5 penalty on intelligence tests. That's fine. It's understandable. Wary. Hivers are constantly alert for hints of trouble, but be it a gang of shootout, Habride, or Hivequake, all Hivers gain a +1 to initiative rolls, which is pretty good. I think initiative is probably like the best you can get into for any particular role-playing game. In Dungeons & Dragons, in Rogue Trader, they have a similar initiative system. You rolled your dexterity in Dungeons & Dragons plus like certain talents. The same goes for Rogue Trader. You rolled your dexterity bonus, like say like 3, and then you can add like certain other talents and stuff like that, right? So starting wounds, you double your toughness bonus and add 1d5 +1 to results. Fate points, like I mentioned before, you roll on a chart. You can begin with 2, 3, or even 4 fate points. The max I think you can have fate points is 5. You generally only get them for like very extreme circumstances, like you save a planet, or you do something that's like within your character's goals, but like a goal that he's been working at through his entire life. You get a fate point. And like I said, fate points, you can re-roll abilities on them. You can burn them permanently, get rid of them permanently to avoid like death, within reason. Like if you're on a planet and the planet explodes, a fate point is not going to help you. You're just going to die, right? Anyways, so our bard is going to be a Hive Worlder, but we could say it is Hive Worlder, where we'll say it's a not fantasy world. We'll call it a squire world, right? It's a world that has been maybe like given over to, in my campaigns, the concept of squire worlds. Originally, I called them night worlds before night worlds were really fleshed out. But like squire worlds are like social experiments that was given over by mankind in like the dark age of technology or the golden age of technology, or even the mechanics themselves. They're trying to figure out like how certain things like play out based on like certain things introduced to a primitive society, right? They're not really introduced to technology that we know of, right? So we'll say this is a squire world. Okay, let's go back to the game. I can walk and talk at the same time. I've been known to do that. What are we at? We're at 2 hours. And cool. I did talk a little bit longer, so I apologize about that. But hopefully you guys are getting something out of it. Okay, so 𝕽𝖶𝖌𝖚. Okay, good thing I saved that 𝕽𝖶𝖌𝖚. Goddamn. So they're all over there. I think I had. Can I do? Boo, boo, boo. I think I have. No, wait. Wait. So I can do. Buff everyone. Okay, buff. Buff. And not much I can do. Keep her right here. That's what I did last time. Bird. Go over here, bird.
Quiet, Whispers. It's my toy, and I'm gonna control it
Okay.
myself.
And there's nothing much more I can do. You guys going? Okay. Poo. I think what we're going to be doing is when we build up our bard character, I think we're probably going to do missionary. Because I'm trying to think of like any sort of like song-based or like aura-based system. And I think missionary has stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see about that. Okay, Solomon. Okay, I didn't summon a demon this time. That's which is always good. Let's do.
The order is clear.
Okay, get a little bit of extra
Accepted.
movement. And charge.
Understood.
And yeah, good enough, I guess. What else? Protect. Am I gonna protect, or what am I gonna do? Let's just do standby,
One of us
I
would be
suppose.
enough.
And yeah, I think that's good. I don't think I can really do anything else, right? Cool. Earlets. No one's here, so can't really do anything. I can't really do anything with her, I think. So let's just hug the wall
I move as if unseen.
and move on, I suppose. Heinrichi Tiki Tavi. Boop.
Let's see to it.
Buff. And can't use it again. We're the Emperor.
I won't object to it.
Cool. Buff.
Everyone, step aside.
Yeah. Anyways, cool. Twitch. TTR game shows. Hey, what's up? Started posting, came to drop some support. Feel free to follow back when you can. Hey, thanks, TTR. I appreciate it. I'll try to give you a follow on Twitch as soon as I can. Let me actually write that down so I don't forget. But thanks. Appreciate it, TTR. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like and follow and subscribe to both YouTube and Twitch. I really would appreciate it if you would do so. I do stream Wednesday, Thursday nights, Saturday, Sunday mornings. This week I'm going to be doing Tuesday instead of Wednesday, just to kind of get a feel of like how things are on that particular day. But I do stream like off-the-radar games, like modded games, or indies or retros. Kind of like direct you guys' attention to a certain like hobby you can get into, people you can meet. And on Sundays we do Warhammer 40,000 games, but unofficially. It's unofficial Warhammer 40,000 Sundays. Okay, so let's do that. Cool. Okay, they're running. They're running. Getting a lot of spam calls on my phone. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have actually done that for 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖉𝖊𝖗. Oh well, that's fine. Okay, so do this. So I'm gonna still do blitz.
Astute observation.
Can I do anything else? Can I shoot? Let's see here. Blitz, 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 blitz. Blitz, blitz, blitz. Cool.
Nuncius, I'm relying on you.
Blitz. Kind of don't want to get too close. Can I shoot? Okay, I can shoot from here.
The servants of the Omnissiah will not waver.
Cool. And what else can I do? I can do boop. And what else can I do? Can I do boop once again? Can I boop once again? Yeah, look at this. Bam.
Machine spirits approve.
Not bad.
Guided my hand.
I don't think I'm within range. Oh, am I? No, I'm not. Cool. Alright. So do blitz. Oh, I can't do blitz? Not far enough. I don't like that. Blitz. Come on. Get a little closer. Blitz. Okay, blitz. Okay. And can I do blinding strike on these guys? Not quite. Almost, but not quite. I don't have any cover. That's fine. I'm going to take a risk. Blinding strike. Thank you. Cool. Awesome. Finest hour. I think I'll wait. I'll save this for someone else. I can do strafe. Yes. Okay, and I can do boop, boop. Awesome. 2 more attacks. Can I kill this guy? I think I can. Actually, hold up 1 second. Can I actually make it to this guy? Probably not, right? No. Like, I haven't been able to pull off a lot of obscure vision attacks, like really good ones before. But it is pretty fun when you actually are able to pull it off, or you're actually able to get an enemy to shoot his buddy. It's always fun, right? You...
Suits my purposes.
Cool. Just killed all of them by himself. Okay, cool. Yeah, all these guys are melee for the most part, so I'm not too concerned. These guys are ranged, but it'll take a while to get down there. I don't think I'm fine. Should I use this? No. I'm good. 3 movement. Let's move a little bit further back if I can.
I shall not fear.
Cool. I think this is... Ooh, 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖉𝖊𝖗. That's fine. Oh, no, 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖆𝖉! Okay. Maybe I'll save it for Solomon. I don't know. Or we can do actually her heroic for her familiar is actually a lot better. So you can do like lightning bolt from like very far away. I think I might actually use it for her. It's very, very good. But I do have to move in order to see the raven, I believe. Can I actually see it? Can I do this? It's so far away. Oh, so close. Let's do... Oh, I don't have any... so far away. Let's do...
Was it you?
Blitz.
Or
Save. But I can do... I should be able to do it now. Blitz. So I can do... Actually, can I do... Yeah, here we go. Look at this. Bam! I don't think that came from the Cyber Raven. Well, whatever. That's fine.
quiet whispers. It's my toy. I'm gonna control it myself.
Okay. Could drop this 𝕿𝖗𝖊𝖊𝖗. I could do this, or I could do dominate and see if you can. I can just move him down. So we won't attack 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Okay, so you should move automatically. And do boop on this guy, and then do this.
Let's see what you can do.
And yeah, I think that's it. Cool. Ooh. Oh, they're using the little Tesla rifle thing. That's interesting. Oh, 𝕿𝖗𝖆, no! Oh, it's like right then. Okay, that's fine. My dog! My dog! What have you done? Yeah, it is what it is. Can't really do much. Go here, I suppose.
Hold the formation.
I mean, I go closer, but there's no, like, it wouldn't... I can't, like, range taunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, taunt, like, range attacks, so it's kind of, like, pointless. So let's do that.
Take long.
Yeah, skip turn. Her... Kind of wish I could do, like, an Overwatch action. Can't really do anything. Nah. Can't really do anything. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Nothing I can do. And... Ricky. Ricky can't do anything either. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I should have used, Warp Strike, whatever. That's fine. Yogan can definitely snipe. We get this. And snipey snipe. Go. Anything else? Do snippy snip? Snipey snipe? Yeah. Do anything else? I think you might be able to kill him with a crit. Or not. Okay, and then I can do this. I wanted to do the analyze afterwards, just because I can... yeah, I think it spreads between turns, I want to say. I think. I'll do that. Just a little bit extra damage. Cool. And Barnabas. What else am I doing? Barnabas. Oop, wait. Bunny strike, yes.
Nothing I can't do.
Okay, cool. I'll save this for Solomorn, most definitely. And how about... Is there anything else I can do? Oh, I can have Obscure Vision. Obscure Vision here and try to see if I can attack this guy.
All too easy.
Ah, boo. It's fine. Do this. And plop 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 plop.
Suits my purposes.
Anything else? I don't think so. Sure.
Nothing I can't do.
Let's get out of here.
Forge ahead.
Stand on the candles. Oh, he's small enough. He can just fit between the candles. They're so big. He's just a little man. Okay. Got it. So I should be able to do... Wait, why is this 2% chance to hit? Doesn't make any sense. I don't really need to do that anyways. So I can probably kill, maybe kill, not really sure if I can kill. Go like that.
Anything is.
Now it should kill. Yes. Cool. And what else? Blah, 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 blah. I'll move like right here. Get a little bit of line of sight blocking for these guys. And we'll do that. Do bird. Like 100% more bird damage. And yeah, I guess. Can't really think of anything else. Can I go... 𝕽𝖶𝖌𝖚𝖊𝖊𝖗. A little bit more movement, I suppose. Cool. So many heretics in this place. I think this is actually meant to be like for a much lower level character. Yeah, because I'm having like a much easier time at like coming here a lot later than I normally do. Overcharge, yes. Revive 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Look at it, he rises. He rise. What does this do again? He'll end the combat. The samurai massive deals additional damage to 70% of the target's maximum wounds. Awesome. 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Where is he?
You've got a job to do, 𝕿𝖗𝖆.
Okay, I'll start heading towards him. Let's do it, 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Let's do it, baby boy.
Understood.
You beautiful, beautiful, beautiful corgi. Battle corgi. Filled with blood. Bloodlust. Look at this magnificent beast right here. I love you, 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Can I do... yes.
𝕿𝖗𝖆, we're undertaking this task.
Okay. And this guy's range, so I don't want that. Can I do another one? 𝕿𝖗𝖆? How about do...
Mark the target.
Cool. 𝕿𝖗𝖆, can you reach him? Yes, awesome.
Let's test our skills.
Good boy.
𝕿𝖗𝖆.
Good boy, 𝕿𝖗𝖆. Anything else? Run. Move through enemies while moving. Inflicts 11 levels of bleeding. All edges and edges
One of us would
passes.
be enough.
Oh, I should have. That's fine. I can do it again.
𝕿𝖗𝖆, we're undertaking this task.
Cool. Crit, crit, crit. Amazing.
Let's test our skills, 𝕿𝖗.
Yeah, that's fine. 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖊𝖗, she's so far behind. I don't know if it's even gonna do anything. Can I get close? Yes, I
I am
can.
not your Xenos pet monkey.
And can I do... I think it's just... no, they're all range. Okay. I think I can do this.
Just designate a target.
And then do this.
I understand your intent.
I gotta have one pip left. So let's see here. That's... I have 4 pips. Okay, so I can do this. And anything else I can do? 20% chance, 20% chance, 60% chance. This is fine. Yes.
This tedium is beneath me. I hear you moving. No more.
Okay. So I should have enough to run and gun, get some more movement back, right? Yes. I can just run as far back as I can.
I move swiftly to strike.
And yeah. Heinrichi. Heinrichi. You're so far behind. What are you even going to do, Heinrichi? I don't know. And yes.
Let's see to it.
Blitz. And yeah. Let's go here for now. Boop.
I won't object to it.
Boop. Cool. And good enough. Doing this pretty well. What is it? The amount of extra wounds. He has 229 wounds out of 103. Amazing. So definitely do... Let's try doing this like so.
Astute observation.
And we'll do that.
Executing command.
Blitz over here. Blitz. I could do 2 blitzes, actually. It's always interesting to pull off that.
A valid argument.
Let's see here. Bup. Snipe.
Machine spirits approve.
I don't think he's within enough range to use his Magna Rail. No, I don't think so. So, yes. Okay. Anything else? Yes. Let's see here. Yes. Add more. More stacks. 17 stacks. Nice. Go here.
Suits my purposes.
Okay, we're going to use a bunch of bird power right now. Bird power! Blinding strike. No, not, obscuring strike. Obscuring strike. See if we can do it. Oh, can I not see him? Oh, he has a perfect... Oh. Let's see. Go here. Obscuring vision. Yes.
All too
See if I can
easy.
get the shot out. Oh, you're not going to shoot? Oh, wait. I think he's bugged out. He's like frozen. Whatever. That's fine. What? What's going on? Why can I not blinding strike this motherfucker? Okay.
My tactics are flawless.
Blinding strike. I can't... What? What the?
Absolutely not.
Okay, whatever. Sure. Strafe. How about there? And then do... Yeah! How about that? Cool. Do get an extra attack? Sure, I suppose. How about do like this on Salmorn?
My time is now.
Okay, Blitz
I'll take it as a priority.
and 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖉𝖊𝖗. 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖉𝖊𝖗, you can do Run. For 1 round, allows the Cybermaster to move through enemies while moving and inflicts 7 levels of bleeding on adjacent enemies.
One of
Yes.
us would be enough.
Do like 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖊𝖗 Apprehend. I like this guy, 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖊𝖗. Over there.
𝕿𝖗, we're undertaking this task.
Okay. And plop plop. Can I actually make it? Salmorn. 125 wounds out of 98. Sure. Can I do it? Oh, not quite. That's fine. Whatever. I'll just have 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖊𝖗 attack again.
Let's test our skills, 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖊𝖗.
Good boy. What a good boy. What we got? Blah, 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 blah. Blinding Strike. Can't get it. Stream Boo, what's up? Hold up. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Go. Can I go move? I'm allowed to move.
I don't have time for this.
Can't hit that guy. Wait, how can I not? Blinding Strike. Yeah, whatever.
Already done.
Cool. Do 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 do.
Will do.
Free movement. Look at that. How much ground that just covers is crazy. It's nuts.
They who discern the future own the battlefield.
I don't think I really... Did I take any damage? I don't think I did. When 𝕿𝖗𝖉𝖊𝖗 got knocked down, that's about it. So let's do boop.
Damn! What was the command again?
Okay,
Oh,
so I can
right.
do... Yeah,
But of course,
that's it.
we've got a job to do.
Yeah! Right on. Okay, leveled up too.
I'll lay claim to the stars.
Not bad. Didn't even, like, barely even got the chance to touch me. Yeah! Maces! What else? Oh, what is it? Stub carbines! 12 damage. Ooh. Actually, you know what? This is fine. If they're respecting the arc rifle, that would be pretty cool. Is that it? Nothing else? Okay. Level up. Nice. I always love to get a level up. Overseer. So what are we doing? Intelligence, perception. What do we need? Fellowship, we already have max. Intelligence, perception. Probably perception, I would say. And then skill. Tech use, Medicae, coercion, awareness. Let's do awareness. I think awareness you can use in skill checks quite a bit. Persuasion or persuasion. I feel like just persuasion, actually. We want want weapon skill. Agility is always really good. Toughness is always really good as well. Toughness, we already got that. So agility. Medicae. Demolition. Athletics. Tech use. Awareness. That's... fellowship, agility, weapon skill. Can't do probably agility, I would say, because agility is going to give you bonus to dodge and bonus potential initiative. Medicate, persuasion, demolition. Lord Xenos, I guess. I don't really care, but willpower, ballistic skill. And yeah, I guess. And we got fellowship, intelligence, ballistic skill, weapon skill. Nothing I really want, actually. Intelligence, I suppose, for our skills. Lore Xenos, Lore Warp, Logic, Medicae, Coercion. What do we have? Skill value, Imperium, 55, Yogin, Carouse? Like, I don't really know. I don't know, Medicae, maybe. I don't know what would be good for her. Awareness, I suppose. Yogin. Yogin got 87, Lore Imperium. What do we have? 65. I don't really have a lot of people with better Lore Imperium. Oh my lord. Tech use. What do we have for tech use? 85. I think you got actually what? Ooh, yeah. Wait. Who has good tech use in my group? I guess it would be Yogin, right? Yeah. Willpower, perception. I think perception decreases the dodge chance. So that'd be pretty good. Willpower, ballistic skill, blah, 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 yeah. Actually, you know what? Oh, crap. Wait. Shoot. Like, I do need something that actually does... Because certain abilities for my particular build are based off of agility or perception. I forget which ones they are. Crap. Let's back out. Yes. Yogin. Features. Blah, 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 blah. Active abilities, expose weakness, joint weakness, analyze enemies. There's one of you or exploits and exploits. Perception. Okay, so perception would be better. Okay, cool, cool. That helps. Yes. Cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. That was good. Yes. Cool. Okie dokie. Where are we going? How much time do we have? Might have to end the stream. Let me see. We're at 2:35. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll talk just a tiny little bit more about our character build in the tabletop game, and then we'll peace out. So, so we're trying to make a bard, and it's going to be very Dungeons and Dragons coded, right? I wish they made a first-person shooter for 40K from perspective, Imperial Guard perspective. I feel like they should, if they haven't already. Well, I know, I don't know, it doesn't really count per se, but you can do Helldivers 2 with. They do have Imperial Guard skins, and then there's an Imperial Guard mod you can do. I think it introduces orcs to Helldivers 2, so that's like the closest thing I think you can get. But yeah. So anyways, we'll do a little bit more character building, and then we'll peace out. So we're doing Dungeons and Dragons character. Remember, we're trying to make a bard, right? So the bard right now is part of a hive world, right, or a city world. Like it's a city bard, right, on a kind of a mythical world where is the canon for this character. He or she was part of an adventuring party that actually was able to ascend kind of like a Tower of Babel kind of like dungeon, and on the top was like a giant floating city that it can connect to, and actually can use the floating city to maybe do a number of different things, maybe actually like saving said world, right? So if we go back, ba 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 boop ba boop. Okay, so we did Hive World. So like I said, when you're building a character, you do you have one free row where you can pick whatever. But if we're just doing like Hive World, we can go. This is Birthright is like your early life. Lure of the Void is kind of like the middle of your life, I want to say, and the most the biggest event that happened in your life up until the current campaign. That's what those things are. And then motivation, like why you're going to space. So Hive World, we can go Stubjack, Child of the Creed, or Savant, right? So we go over to the next. We're going away from worlds. So Child of the Creed was one of them, right? Let's actually go all the way over here. Let's move this here. So we got Child of the Creed. Let's read that first. Directly below would be Child of the Creed, right? So, and again, we're building it like this particular character doesn't have, has zero knowledge of the Imperium whatsoever, right? It was not until comparatively late in your youth that you set foot in a room in which the CERN gaze of the Emperor was absent. And during your impressionable years, you were much more shielded from the unfolding arms of the Mistordom, from much of the hardship and uncertainty so many must endure. The unyielding visions of his statues was as much a part of your upbringing as the zealous, pure faith in those closest to you. Scripture, ritual lessons, and priestly exhortations fill your memories, rising unbidden in every quiet moment, as though the white-haired clerks who taught you still remain by your shoulder in spirit, jealously guarding over your soul. All men hear the God Emperor's holy words as if they're born under his rule, but you heard it more than most before even reaching adulthood. So like flavor-wise, like the lore-wise, this doesn't really fit into our bard, but you gain the unshakable faith talent if you're more like you're more like faith-based. Maybe you believe in a certain god. But this would be good if like your bard was like that, right? +3 willpower or +3 fellowship. Fellowship bonus is always really good, but you will suffer a -3 weapon skill. I mean, lore-wise, this doesn't really match up, but we can always just say we can use the stats, but like make up our own lore, right? Stubjack, right? So Stubjack, in our early life, the bard was born into violence. It was surrounding your whole life. You've had a weapon in easy reach ever since you were strong enough to grip one. You could have joined the planetary defense forces or even become a guardsman. But what sort of life is that? Joining a regiment means orders here, orders there, and none of that makes any sense. It was clear to you that fighting for thrones as a mercenary was the best way for a warrior to become rich in his trade and still escape with his skin. You've seen death, victory, and most ugly things that lie in between, but so long as there's always a fat purse waiting on the far side of the battlefield, that's fine with you. As for the dead, the Emperor will know his own, okay? It's not that bad, actually. So you could be a bard who was in his or her youth was, just an adventurer. You're hired on for your skills and you travel from town to town, stuff like that. You gain the quick draw talent. So generally, drawing your weapon is the equivalent of like a half action. Well, it's a half action in this sitting, but it takes a little bit longer to draw your weapon. So this is just, you instantly have it in your arm, right? And you can gain the Intimidate as a trained basic skill. So that means since it's trained, you can use it with your fellowship with no penalty. You gain +5 to your choice of weapon skill or ballistic skill, but you suffer both -5 fellowship and 1d5 insanity points. If any players are getting into this setting and they're very scared about getting insanity points, I would not worry about it whatsoever. Like getting like 5 insanity points early on, I mean, in order to lose your character through insanity, you'd have to be doing some like really nefarious stuff and not have a game plan. In fact, like say if you're playing Rogue Trader as a player and you start off accumulating your insanity points to like a point where it's really, you're afraid that you're going to lose your character, you should have been planning for that, I think. But like early in the game, I don't think it's really going to be that big a deal. If you have something that really matches your player's background, but you gain insanity points, I would say tell your players, don't worry about it. Just look out for insanity in the future, right? I don't know if this is necessarily 100% fits with what we're doing for a bard, but let's check out the last one, right? So we have Hive World, we can go to Savant. I think it's like a book learned type of person. Savant, so it's over here. To the scholar's ear, there's no worse sound than the tearing of parchment. It always marks a desecration of one sort or another, be it a priceless work of art or a savant destroying his own flawed labors in disgust. You know this because in the murmurs, because the murmuring of savants, clicking of Lex machinery, and a scent of ink and dust have all been a part of your life for as long as you can recall. So far, so good. Apprentices are brought young into the depths trade, for there is much to learn, and the human span holds little time to learn it. Apprentices sit in attendance and meet at meeting after meeting between elder servants, bathed in the exchange of knowledge until they know how to learn and the correct knowledge has been drilled into them. All the galaxy is packed with knowledge, and even the smallest drop would fill the minds of a world of savants to bursting. Yet you derive much comfort from learning, even though you could never personally know more than a minuscule fraction of all there is to know. This seems pretty good, like lore-wise. You're a bard who maybe is brought up to a certain bardic college of like just learning various songs and knowledge about the continents and the kingdoms and whatnot. This makes sense. So you gain a choice of logic. So you get a choice. Logic as a trained basic skill. So logic is what would be a good example of logic? Like if you're doing like puzzles, if your character is doing puzzles, or I can say logic as like if you're playing like chess, or if you're doing if you're trying to like look at a crime scene, I would call for a logic test. Since you have it trained, that means you're going to be using your intelligence roll without having it halved, right? Or the pure academic talent. I would say logic is better choice of that because you can use logic in all sorts of you can finesse logic a little bit more, right? You can also gain your choice of +3 intelligence or +3 fellowship, but you suffer -3 toughness. I think this is fine. Let's do savant. And I'd say like fellowship is probably what we want to do. Intelligence would be nice, but so far we have +8 intelligence, I want to say. So like say if we rolled, like a 40 on our initial like stat, we gain, we can come back to rolling stats and everything like that. But we get like 48 fellowship, which is pretty good for like the beginning of the game. And you get like, you can get logic, you can get like a lot of like skills. Like early on, I think you want to rely more on your knowledge and your skills more so than combat because you do get to be fairly squishy, and you can buy good armor at the beginning of the game, but like you get better armor as the campaign would progress, right? So you're more likely to like accomplish certain goals with like skills and like being the face of the party, I would say. So anyways, let's go back here. So we went from Hive World to Savant, right? Now, we'll do this and then we'll end the stream, right? So, and I'll kind of like give my two thoughts about how we're building this character so far. So Savant, we can go to, this is Lord of the Void. I think this is why, or how you started going towards your final destination being on the ship. But this is like the middle of your life, I want to say. So duty bound, you're duty bound for something. Zealot, you're, I think you're following like a religious creed, and then chosen by destiny, like destiny itself. I think this is something just a guess, this is something we're going to do. Because you're chosen by destiny to rise above the ranks of this fantasy world, right? To kind of like go outside of what you know. So with that said, we can go to Zealot, go down, Lord of the Void, Zealots. You possess faith so great that has carried you far beyond the mundane life that would otherwise have been your lot. Whether it's something that has always been part of you or was born in you from amidst a battlefield that came to you, or a revelation where many others believe, you have certainty. It is the faith that has led you on a pilgrim's path to the stars, where you can bring the God Emperor's will to the unbeliever, to needy, to protect the righteous, and to punish the enemies of mankind. So you have a choice of one of the following results. Blessed scars. So your zealotry left you with a lot of scars. You gain +10 to intimidate and -10 to charm. We don't want that since we're playing a bard. And you get 1 poor craftsmanship bionic. It's a bionic like a part, right? So you start off with spending experience at the beginning of character creation. This one gives you an option of spending a little bit of that to upgrade it to a good craftsmanship bionic. I would say this is not the best thing, Because at the beginning of the game, you're probably going to have enough money to buy your own bionic. Like if you really, really want a bionic limb with a bunch of weird tools in it, you can buy that when the campaign starts and you don't have to spend experience points, right? I don't think this is not the best thing. And Intimidate is nice. Any sort of social skills work fairly well in this game, I would say. But -10 to Charm is like, nah, especially with the kind of build we want. Unnerving Clarity. Okay, so we got something that... so this is not necessarily a faith that is in religion, I would say. It's just a faith. You can say that it's just a faith in like your destiny and like what you a faith in what you want to do in life, right? So we can say unnerving clarity. You gain +5 willpower. You also suffer your choice of 1d5 fellowship or 1d10 insanity points. So I think we're, I would say like, I might amend what I said earlier about early game insanity. I would say like 5 insanity is actually not that bad, but having like a potential like 15 insanity points starting off, just be careful about it. Especially if I'd say if you're a game master, if you know your friend, if you know this player at the table is going to kind of like run into combat and not really be very careful about how the player addresses certain insanity-inducing events, you might want to curb the amount of sanity that they're putting on themselves already. Because if they're not paying attention, they can get into a spot where they're not happy. Favor of the Faithful. You gain +5 fellowship in the pure ecclesiarchy talent. You gain -5 toughness. I don't think this is really good for what we want. But we got Zealot, Duty Bound. Let's go back. Duty bound. Only the ignorant believe that duty is a prison forced on others by those in power. True duty arises spontaneously from the soul, a call to service and struggle that should neither be shirked nor denied. It is your faith and your honor that impels you to places and labors beyond the imagining of those who grub in the dirt of self-interest. Whether you serve the Aquila, strive for and guard the numbers of masses of mankind, or serve the calling the honor and calling of your blood, you know how well the great trials and far journeys lie ahead, and intend to see them through to the last. So duty to the throne, you follow more like the emperor himself. Duty to humanity in general, which I think it would make more sense for our bard, right? Duty to your dynasty, you like the crew, your party members, right? That is going to be the replacement of duty to the dynasty, right? Because this bard is part of an adventuring party. We're a typical D&D party that finds this city ship and is able to actually use it with like very little knowledge of how to do like space travel or anything like that, right? You gain +3 willpower if you do duty to the throne, and if you meet the 40% prerequisite, the Armor of Contempt talent. Armor of Contempt, I think, reduces the amount of corruption you get, I want to say. You suffer a -10 penalty to interaction skill tests when dealing with any source outside of the Imperium, IG, aliens, and traitors. I mean, Due to humanity, so mankind in general, your planet, right? Your world, right? Your continent, your kingdom. You gain your choice of +3 perception or +3 intelligence. You suffer -1 to your group's being profit factor. That can be kind of an issue, especially you got to keep in mind that as a new game master or game master that has a bunch of players coming in that don't necessarily know anything about this system, like -1 doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to remember like how many players it doesn't say it does not stack. So if you're not careful, you can have a bunch of characters that have negative profit factor to their starting. It's essentially it's a percentage based skill that you can use. It's just like money, right? Like a vast amount of money. That's what profit factor is. And if you're not careful, your party could come out of the gates like pretty poor. So you got to be careful about that. Due to your dynasty, you gain the rival rogue trader family talent and suffer -3 toughness. You gain a bonus of +1 to your group's beginning profit factor. So journey to your, you could say that you can, like instead of dynasty, like a rogue trader dynasty in the stars, you can say you have a rival adventuring party, right? And you suffer -3 toughness. You gain +1 to your group's beginning profit factor, just because like maybe in your backstory, you raid a lot of like dragons, dens, and stuff like that. You have a lot of like, treasure to your name. I think this is not a bad choice, actually, like duty bound. And then we have chosen by destiny. We'll look at the final one, right? So for as long as you can recall, you have been certain that the grand destiny awaits you. The you can just say, your god must watch over you, for sometimes events have unfolded in exactly the right manner for you to carry your plans forward, and at other times the actions needed to set upon you the way ahead where those things were quickly apparent. Perhaps your quest for knowledge, your quest for forbidden truths that made you enemies amongst the solid thinkers of the kingdom, or perhaps you know in your heart that your fate lies upon strange alien worlds, or ruins or whatnot. Or perhaps you are sure that you will be the greatest of your bloodline, whose name will echo down throughout the ages, no matter what the cost. Choose one of the following and apply it to your character. So, Seeker of Truth, you gain the Foresight talent in the enemy academics or ecclesiarchy. So you butt against a lot of the academics or the church. You suffer -3 willpower. Okay. Enemy is just I don't know. Oh, the Foresight talent. That's what you're getting out of it. Foresight, I think you can make skill checks to gain benefits on like which direction you want to go in. I think that's what Foresight does, but I might be wrong on that. 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊𝖊, so that's alien. You know about aliens or like beasts, right? You gain a +10 bonus to fellowship test on dealing with alien races or creatures or monsters, right? You suffer -5 penalty to willpower test involving alien artifacts and alien psychic powers. This isn't bad. You could say like you and your party members were delving into a number of like dungeons, and you found like other what the Greater Imperium knows as like aliens, but you just know as like different monsters, and you know how to interact with them. So you suffer -5 willpower tests, but you get +10 test to talk to those creatures, which can be good. Already we could potentially have like a 48 fellowship test. So if like you wanted to get this 𝕿𝖗𝖆𝖊 with fellowship, that would be so like 58. And if you're doing like like if you're trying to talk a alien down or a monster down, and you have it'd be like I don't know +10 bonus, like it's not terribly difficult. So that would be 50, so 68% chance of success. So that's actually not that bad for like early in the game. Fated for Greatness, you gain +1 fate point, but you also suffer 1d10 insanity points. Fate points are really, really good. Definitely be very careful. I guess I will amend my initial thing. If you're getting like 5 fate points or under, that's fine. But if you're a new player and a new GM, be very careful about how many insanity points a new player is stacking. Just be careful, okay? So I think, so we're making a bard. I think, like, Duty to Your Dynasty is actually not that bad. I would say, I think we got Insanity earlier, didn't we? Or I might be misremembering that. I would say that, I think we got Insanity earlier. So I probably, unless you got like really bad, because I think you have to roll for your fate points early in the game, or like when you're creating your character. So if you get like 2 fate points, I probably would recommend, because you can go through those pretty easily. I'd recommend if you get a low amount of fate points starting out, get Fated for Greatness to get +1 fate point, and just hope that you don't get as many insanity points from it. But otherwise, I think Duty to Your Dynasty, Duty to Your Adventuring Party, you can just say. Just cross out Dynasty, put Adventuring Party. So you get a little bit more money. So I think that's pretty good starting out, personally. And plus, asterisks, we can come back to that later on, because I would think that there's certain builds you would do for your ship that I would say talk to your GM about, swapping the amount of profit factor you have for the amount of ship points you have. But yeah, with that said, so this is what we have so far. We'll talk about a little bit more about this next week, but we're trying to do like a fantasy bard from Dungeons & Dragons. It could be like a literal Dungeons & Dragons campaign converted over to Rogue Trader. So be interesting. I'd like to hear stories. If you ever played a game with a character like this, or with one of the other players at the table had a character like this, let me know in the comments below. I'd be really interested in hearing it. We also do have a Discord. Link is pinned in the to the right of me in the live chat and down below in the video description down below. But yeah, our bard started off is with a hive world, right? And we did we did Savant, I think we did, right? And then we did Duty Bound, right? So we went boop, boop. So now we can do Trials and Travails, Hand of War. This is what happened, like the biggest, I won't go over the fight, like all the details of it so far. But Hand of War, I think you were in the biggest events that happened in your life, you were press ganged and you were in war, right? You had a lot of experience in war. Press ganged is like you're forced to be a part of a certain faction, which maybe your bard was forced by to be like the court fool of like a kingdom, right? And he was able to escape, right? Calamity, you're part of maybe a total party wipe, and you're the only survivor, right? It's Calamity. You survived a Calamity. Shiplorn, you're forced to be without a ship. I would say that to make more sense for the bard, I would say like maybe you're just maybe shipwrecked in an actual like sailing ship on the planet at some point in time, or you just found yourself like lost in like a desert or something like that. You're away from society for a long period of time. Dark Voyage is that you found something that was not meant to be found. Generally is like corruption and insanity, but you have like certain other talents that he actually gets. High Vendetta, someone wronged you at some point in time, and your motivation is more like revenge, right? Going to motivation, so I'm not really sure like what's going to be best for us. We'll kind of talk about that next week. But motivation, endurance is you go out into the stars and to adventure for just endure, to see something new. Fortune is you're seeking your fortune out in the world and now beyond the stars. Vengeance is someone wronged you again, and you're looking to right that wrong. Renown is you're looking for infamy, I think, or just like you want to be known, I want to say, in a particular faction. Pride is that you want to be the best you can probably be, and you know it. Prestige is, I think you want to have like some sort of legacy. I can't remember what the difference between a renown and prestige is offhand, but we can look over that next week. So the careers that they actually start off with, Astropathically Transcendent is like the main like spellcaster version in this game, which we probably won't touch on that. I'll say Arc Militant is the more like the warrior, right? Voidmaster is a variant of the warrior that knows a little bit more about piloting a void ship, or piloting fighters, or piloting like tanks or stuff like that. They're like the pilots of the group, right? Explorator are the tech priests, knowing about like knowledge and stuff like that. Missionary are the charismatic, faith-based guys. What I think we're probably going to end up being a missionary, because missionary has certain faith points, faith talents that allowed you to do like auras to prevent fear or negative social like effects of your party, right? So I think we might end up doing that. Seneschal is more like I think Seneschal is a very interesting character archetype. It's like the knowledge archetype, but also the rogue archetype, like into and a little bit of like face also. So Seneschal might be good also for our bard. We did Seneschal for our Captain Picard character a couple weeks back. Navigator doesn't really make that much sense in terms of where we're building our bard, but navigators are if you played the Rogue Trader cRPG, you know what a navigator is, but essentially they're a spellcaster that also is able to help with faster than light travel for the starship. And their spell system is different than the Astropath Transcendent, right? But they have a very like strong set of powers if you really know how to build them. And Rogue Trader, finally, there are not necessarily the captain, although a lot of people are going to assume that they are, but they're a charismatic, like swashbuckler melee archetype. That's what they are. But like I said, I think we're going to end up going towards missionary, and we'll talk about that next week. So thank you guys for attending my stream. I really do appreciate that. You guys are all amazing, wonderful, beautiful people who deserve all the love in the world. Don't forget that. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me a little bit more. Really do appreciate you. Like I said, like and follow and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help me out. Throw some likes on to any of the more obscure games that I do stream, just so I know that it'll be worthwhile to continue that with them as a series, like week by week. Otherwise, I tend to just like stream them like once or twice, just to kind of give people like an idea that they are there, right? But next week, what I think we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing it's the Oregon Trail, but with zombies, right? That's going to be on Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's called Oregon Trail, right? Where you're trying to survive a zombie apocalypse, but it has like Oregon Trail, like old school, like DOS, like graphics. It seems pretty interesting. I'm interested in trying that out. Thursday, we're going to try out more obscure, I don't know if it's necessarily an obscure MMO, but we've been trying out MMOs and more obscure MMOs. We're going to be trying out some of the Eastern MMOs. I think this one is a Chinese MMO called Perfect World. We're going to try that on Thursday night. Saturday, we're going to be going back to Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass. We had enough votes to continue that series. And then the following Sunday, we're going to be doing Rogue Trader again. And we'll continue our discussion on making a fantasy character in Rogue Trader. But yeah, thank you guys very much. Jump over to our Discord if you haven't already. Talk in the comments down below. Tell me your experience for actually making your own characters and your own Rogue Trader stories. And I will talk to you later. Peace out.